On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt and Nick will brave talking about the Acolyte yet again as they break down the latest episode to inform fans what is really going on after the Jedi encountered their new red lightsaber-wielding friend. Where will the story go next? How are fans dealing with this episode? And do the dudes still think they have the bad guys figured out? All that and more in this week's SWTS. And, of course, the show will end with the question of the week responses and the latest top 5 Star Wars fan artists. Punch it, Chewie. Wowie, wooey, wah. Everybody, welcome back to the Star Wars Time Show. Holy hell, has it been a hell of a past, 18 hours or something like that since we all probably, at least us diehards, tuned in and watched the latest episode of the Acolyte S1E5, aka Night. Just like Devin said here in the chat last week, day turns into night, and holy shit, did we get some dark and brutal Star Wars shoved in our eye holes and right down the pie holes. This is going to be hard, Nick, to stay on focus because of how exciting that episode was, how amped up it got me as a longtime fan of Star Wars lore and good storytelling. And while even in my own personal review, hey, everyone check it out, please. Would love you to do it. It's out there on youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. I kind of led with, hey, I still know this is probably going to upset some of you, but I don't know what's going on anymore. Like what we just saw last night in the Acolyte E5, to me, is top tier Star Wars. It's George Lucas Star Wars. It may be even better. Go ahead, shoot me, tell him a stupid shill, and then I should kill myself. We're used to that. 5 weeks or 4 weeks into covering the Acolyte. It's fine. But we'll get there. Of course, we're going to start with Ask Us Anything. We got some questions to get through. We're going to take a quick pit stop with ANDOR Season 2 just to remind everybody what's going on with that. And then, of course, we're going to spend the bulk of E315 of the SWTS going through Night. Holy shit. I've got so many notes. I was up past midnight taking notes, researching, talking to other nuts like me, riffing, theory crafting. And you know what, my friends? That means I am enjoying Star Wars, and that's all that matters. I don't care if you all hate it, if you don't get it, if you think it should be released in full. I love it. That's all that matters. Young Nick loves it. That makes it even more fun. So, here we go. Chat's looking live tonight, Nick. It's going so fast I can't even fucking read it. So, hello, everybody. We see you in there. Lord Drift, Dork, Tones, Nova, Props. I know Bat's in there. Bango is in there. My father Django stopping by. If you want to play and do it live with the SWTS, don't forget every Wednesday, most Wednesdays, maybe 2 or 3 a year we miss, 5 p. East on the tube.com/Star Wars Time Show. Whew, I'm just shot out of a cannon. I've just had this Star Wars energy since last night, getting done watching the episode. I can't wait to watch it again. It just, fuck. All right, let's not blow our loads yet. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah, man. It's been good. I think for the last couple of weeks, we've all been saying, or me and Matt have been saying, that this show is building, and every episode reveals a little more, but there's also still more layers to peel off. And
that's the best part.
That's the best part. Is there's always some reason to come back. There's always another mystery to get more information on, to reveal. And dude, they killed it.
It feels fucking good, man. You and I talked offline, and listen, Bad Batch was Bad Batch, solid cartoon. But we'd come here, and I'd be a little more into it, and you were like, hey, whatever, Bad Batch. And listen, we still have a good time. Nothing beats doing the Star Wars Time Show when both old guy who stares at clouds and young Nick are kind of in line, and their fandom is ratcheted up, their enthusiasm is cracked out. It just makes for some really, really fun and enjoyable Wednesday discussions about Star Wars. So thank you, Leslie and the team, Lucasfilm. Listen, is this series perfect? No. I do think episodes 1 through 3 had some issues I still really can't pinpoint. So something was fucked up. But I'll tell you what, if you sit with this and you let this mystery unfold and you stew on it, I don't know what's been better. I mean, Mando S1, S2, okay? But, like, come on. And we got 3 to go, and I really think 6, 7, and 8, maybe not from a dual perspective, Nick, but from a story and, like, perspective, it could beat this episode.
Dude, it's going to be lore just galore, you know? These last 3 episodes are going to give you I mean, it may not be dumps every episode, but you're going to get stuff that's like, that you're finally going to be like, oh, this is why. Or, man, I can't believe that. It's going to be reveals, and it's going to be good lore through the end of this show. And, like, I don't know what else you can ask for as a Star Wars fan. If I'm being completely honest with you, like, this episode gave you, if you're the type of fan who really enjoyed the prequels, like, this is giving you this is the best duel that we've seen since the prequels. 100, not even close.
Dude, it's not even close. Like, there's nothing else that rivals what we saw to open. It was what? It was like 25 minutes straight of just fucking rad.
And just incredible dueling. Like, incredible dueling from all of the stunt performers, from the actors, like, top to bottom. This stuff was insane. And, like, even some of the deaths were just like, I cannot believe they did that. And we'll get to it. Like,
there ain't no plot armor in the Acolyte, buddy.
Yeah, like, we'll get to it when we get to our breakdown. But, like, I just don't, like, if you're not into this, if you can watch this episode as a Star Wars fan and be like, one of those people, like, I just don't know what to tell you. You're not a fan anymore. Do it right.
You know, we got to get on the trend. It's Haktua.
Yeah.
Haktua.
If like, yeah, man, if you're not into it, I feel bad for you. Because this is some of the best Star Wars that we've gotten in a long time.
And just look at my face. Like, I can't wipe this shit-eating grin off my face. And I don't even care. When you start clipping this and people tell us how fucking stupid and brain dead we are and we're shills and we're idiots, who cares? I feel fucking fantastic. I feel like I'm on drugs, and I'm not. That's amazing for someone like me. So yay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to call us shills, look, we don't have the follower base or the views for Disney to pay us to be shills. But hey, if Disney wants to pay us to shill for this show, send the money, because I will happily do it.
I am more than happy to sell out. Like, let's be real. If they're like, hey, you happy ass looking fools, you're super positive, you never say anything negative, we want you on our team. See ya. I'm out. Dude. Star Wars Time Show canceled. I'm fucking gone.
Yeah, send it over. Send it over. But yeah, dude, it's
props. Tell us the secrets. Props is telling us right now that, you know, he knows why the choreography was better than Ahsoka. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
go. I mean, assuredly,
I have seen some people like, oh, the choreography is terrible. I'm like, that's fucking Nick Gillard, man. I mean,
yeah, like that's straight from, like, you watch that fight in the style that they fought in.
My God,
and we have literally talked to the person who did all of the fight coordination for the prequels for hours. He was on our show for 2+ hours and broke down everything to us. This is as close as it's been to Nick Gillard prequels since the prequels.
That's what I thought, but again, we're two idiots, so what do we know? Anyways, man, you listen, this is a tease of what's to come probably for the next hour and a half once we get into it, but I have fucking goosebumps, and I love that. I don't care how old I am. Like I said, I don't care if I'm brain dead, and you all are too intelligent for this series, but my God, was that fun last night. All right, man, like I said, the chat's bumping, so let's go ahead and do some Ask Us Anything for people that submitted questions. Thank you to everyone in there spitting some comments while we talk here. For some reason, I can't scroll the chat anymore, but maybe that'll figure itself out. Let me pop this up. Okay. slacky do. And the questions. All right, Nick, here we go. So first up, this is coming from the Joe MC Cat. Has the Star Wars universe become too disconnected / disorganized?
I mean, I can see why the question comes up, because I feel like there's always just been, even before Disney bought it, a confusion around what's canon, what's not canon, what book is this from, or when does this take place, and all that. And here's what I'll say. There is, at this time, more Star Wars content available than has ever existed. Let's just
that's no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm just talking about canon content here, okay? I'm just talking about what is now considered canon content. I mean, there's a ton of novels. There's a ton of comic books. There's more TV series than we've ever had before. There's more non-movie, non-silver screen stuff than has ever existed. So it can be easy for it to become disorganized if you're not closely following it. So I can say that, if you're a casual fan of Star Wars and you're coming in and you're like, well, where do I start? What do I watch? What do I watch first? It's super hard. It's super hard even for diehard fans like us to tell you where to start, because there is so much content. And I don't think it's become disconnected. I do think that it's really hard to organize. I really do think that, if you're a first-time Star Wars fan and you come to me and you ask me, hey, what's the first thing I should watch? I'm going to tell you something different than what Jared would, Sir Dork would, or even what you may say, to somebody who's
I'm all fucking
fan.
weird, because you think I should be 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, but I'm also an OCD freak and I like chronology. So these days when I start my rewatches, I'm going back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. So it's really hard to keep everything organized, for sure, because here's the reality of what's happening here. We just had a show, the animated show that came out right before the Acolyte was in a completely different time era than this show. So if you're watching and you have no idea what the eras are and when these characters are what events are happening at what times, it's super disorganized and confusing. But in terms of disconnection, I don't think so.
I mean, Nick, I think Nick, he really gave you a great summary. The best way to look at it these days is anything prior to the sale is horseshit, unless it's a movie. Anything 214 and beyond, comics, books, possibly games, shows, canon. So there you go.
Yeah.
Real quick, Props gave us an update on that tease. So basically, the reason Ahsoka fights looked kind of basic and slow was Dave Filoni's fault. He that's what Props is saying. He everyone in the stunt team, they wanted to make stuff fast and frenetic, but Dave really wanted to use the actors and not stunt doubles for shots. So that's why things were a little bit slower. And finally, coming from Props, it sounds like Ahsoka might have not had the best director of photography.
Yeah. It says Acolyte has better camera work. The camera work on Ahsoka was atrocious. Even Ming, the stunt team, said it was not edited correctly, I would assume. And Justin has spoke to both Ming and one of the other, Ming Q, who was the fight coordinator on Ahsoka, and another person who worked on it as well. So
damn straight.
I mean, thanks for the context.
It makes sense. I mean, Justin, listen, if you're gonna have Rosario and fucking Iman and Hayden, you're not going to want their dubs in there. So
yeah, I mean, iconic. It's the difference between what we saw today or yesterday in the fight in the Acolyte versus what you see in Ahsoka is the legacy of the characters. Ahsoka's characters are legends in Star Wars canon for some people. You're talking about Ahsoka Tano, who's one of the most popular characters ever in Star Wars animated, who has now made their way over to live action, and the same for Ezra, the same for some of these other characters, Thrawn, and these other characters as well. These are legendary characters that you want to use the actors as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, and Justin comes in and says now, but I was told Dave realized he was wrong and will try to use more stunt performers in Ahsoka season 2. So I mean, like, if they can see, if Dave can like self-correct like that and realize like, hey, it's probably better for it to look more awesome than to have like face close-ups and stuff like that. Hey, I think that's the right move, and I think that Acolyte just showed it for sure. So.
Yeah, all right. Good one there from the Joe M. Cat. Oh, damn. I always click on the wrong arrows like an idiot. Here we go. Spot Spencer. What's your favorite non-main member of the Jedi Council? Oh, hold on. We got our man B-Mad in here, and as always, he is making it rain. Thank you, brother. I see you out there trying to fight the trolls in our comments section, man. It's a fun game, isn't it?
Hey, man. It's like whack-a-mole, dude.
I love it. I love it.
Appreciate it.
They're getting so upset now. They're like, "Oh, great channel size." It's like, yeah, we're fucking tiny. You don't think I know that shit? Why is your dumb ass watching my content then?
It's like when you have to insult the size of a channel. Yeah. It's like you've completely run out of any amount of. It's so
bro, Cannon, that CD-ROM from 1998. Chaotic Moody.
But yes, R.I.P. to Yord and Jackie. Honestly, dude, like we're gonna get there when we get into the breakdown. Jackie is awesome. Jackie went out like such a badass.
She deserves a hot toy, and I'll buy it. Let's refocus on this question, so we're not here till 9 o'clock, though.
Yeah. favorite non-main member of the Jedi.
I'm not exactly sure what that means, because I would assume every member on the council is main.
I guess it's like, I mean,
are we talking like Oppo Rancis and Eth Koth and like these type of people, or Yariel Proof?
That's what I was gonna say. Is like I would consider even like Ki-Adi Mundi as a non-main character. You know, like
Mr. Wookiee.
Yaddle was a non-main character on the Jedi Council. Shock T, right? Shock T was a member of the Jedi Council.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I think is Yariel Proof the one with the real long neck and like he almost looks like a living sperm. You know, he's got like a long neck and like a bulbous head, or is that Oppo Rancis?
I can't remember. I mean, for me, I'm trying to pull up all Jedi Council members now. Members of the Jedi High Council. Obi, Mace, Yoda, Anakin, but he's not a master. Shock T, Stas Ali, Agen Kolar, Deepa Balaba, Coleman Kasaj, Oppo Rancis, which is the one that you were mentioning.
Yeah, Yariel Proof. He's the sperm head. There you go. Yes. I'll take him.
And then, I mean, if I had to take a pick, and it's like, I guess really it's like, what do you consider a main character, right? Because I feel like Luminara is even more of a main character than Ki-Adi, just because of the amount of spotlight that Luminara got in the animated series.
Maybe, Nick, if they were featured in Order 66, they can't count, so...
But Luminara, so like Luminara wasn't, Ki-Adi was. Right. So I would probably say Luminara is my favorite because of her exposure that she got through the animated series.
What was the little person guy with elf ears and like a stabbed out eye? Remember him from TPM? It's like Evan something.
Dude,
it's not that important. There you go.
No, because he's Zabrak, Ag, and Kolar. Deepa Balaba, not that one either. Yeah, like Deepa Balaba was Kanan's master. No. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember that.
Oh, here we go. Evan PL. There we go. Evan PL.
Okay.
He's got like, like he looks like fucking Dobby.
Yeah.
That's my man. That's my man. little guys getting work. You gotta like that. All right, there you go. We got that one. Next. Not a story the Jedi would tell you. Fluff to fuel alienation, or did the Jedi know? Nick, I'll tell you what. I am forgetting where this came from. Is this from the Acolyte?
No, I mean not a story the Jedi would tell you. I think they're referencing Palpatine like in the theater to Anakin. You know, it's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
Okay, so basically what Rippick is saying here, I figured it out because I'm dumb, Nick smart, is did the Jedi know about the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise, the tragedy that is
the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? And here's the thing: is like.
Well, yeah, I would say they know because Sidious is kind of saying, but implying they know, they just won't tell.
Yeah. So like, but I guess what Rippick is asking is, do they actually know? Because given what we're seeing now, do you think that they were really in the dark about Plagueis? Because right now, like there is a
good
in
point.
The Acolyte. Yeah, there is a
good point. You're right.
A very clear thing that they are either unwilling or not able to believe that Sith still exist. Even so much so that like in this episode, Sol is staring down somebody that you can only describe as a Sith, all black outfit, red lightsaber, like masked to a degree that like, you know, it's so obvious that it's a Sith, but there haven't been Sith in the galaxy for so long that this master Jedi is literally like questioning this dude. Like, what are you? What are you?
Hey, now that you brought this up, did you find it curious that after Kamir's like, well, you guys would technically call me a Sith. Again, not saying he's a Sith himself, saying that's what a Jedi would call a Force user that doesn't follow his rules. I really loved his motivation speech. I thought that just kind of highlighted some of the stuff we've been saying about what the Jedi Order has done to the galaxy and the use of Force. It's really disenfranchised people. Yeah. But did you pick up when he admits to being Sith, Sol curiously says, well, then why are you risking discovery? So it's like Sol understands at least that if there are Sith, they are meant to be hidden.
They're meant exactly that like it's been so pounded into their head that like the Sith are gone or the Sith are underground, you'll never see them, that like him seeing one, he's like, oh my, like he's not prepared. He's not prepared. Like there's, and that is the whole thesis of the prequels, is that the Jedi were so blinded that they were unprepared. Like from the beginning in the prequels, from episode 1, they were so unprepared and not ready for the Sith because they had become so complacent that they got wiped out by one. Mm-hmm. They got wiped out by one. And it's just planting those seeds. It's the same seeds, the same stuff that George was telling you in the prequels. It is happening right now. They are so unprepared and blinded by their own inability to accept that darkness could rise again, that when they see it in front of their face, they can't accept it.
Yeah, like, holy shit, why? Well, if this is real, why the hell did you come out of hiding? You're not even supposed to be in existence.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. So, Rippick, I think we've come to the conclusion they did not know. And this was, as you're saying, Sidious fueling alienation. Like, hey, man, your Jedi buddies, they wouldn't tell you this secret. But, you know, Uncle Sheev sure as shit will.
Yeah, I mean, I really do think that was everything that Palpatine did was to poison Anakin against the Jedi Order. Mm-hmm. Everything. Like, I don't think, like, and the thing is, not a story the Jedi would tell you. Like, it's really hard because Plagueis died at a time during the High Republic era when it was believed that like, hey, there are no like Sith threats out there. So it's very possible that the Jedi didn't know. But yeah, I think that like the main thing is Palpatine, everything that he did was just to poison Anakin's mind.
I mean,
against
we may find, Nick, by the end of the Acolyte that these dark side operators that's part of what they're doing here, to disenfranchise the Jedi within their own ranks.
Yeah, I mean, my buddy Phil jumps in. He says, wanted a better motivation for the Sith. So here's what I'll say too.
I thought it was perfect. Like, sorry, Nick, but think like, It would almost like being a female back in the 19th or 18th century, where you weren't allowed to do anything because of your private parts. You were a less than human. So think about that in the terms of Star Wars and Galaxy. If you are a creature that is born with latent force abilities, yet you have this bureaucracy that tells you either have to join us or you can't fucking use it, and you have to use it the right way. That could definitely motivate people to go against the system with the double bird.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally disenfranchisement, like when applied to your innate abilities, like we don't know Kamir's whole story, and I don't know if we'll find out Kamir's whole story, but disenfranchisement is plenty enough reason for action against a system, and that is what Kamir is feeling right now, is that like I was told that I can't do the things that I want to do, or I can't use my abilities in a way that is outside of Jedi purview because of the institution of the Jedi Order and how they choose to levy their laws. And it is very clear that Kamir is a bad guy too. Like,
well, Nick, here's one of his quotes, and he curiously looks right at Osha. He goes, "Rules, rules, rules. If you never have to follow them, you never have to break them." And like I said, he side eyes Osha like, "Hey, baby, wink, wink. You want to play on this side?"
Yeah. I mean, like, and the thing is like, it's we just learned that Kamir is Darth Teeth, or whatever you want to call him, Strangers, the Sith guy.
Stranger is what the captions call him these days.
We don't know his backstory. We don't know what has caused this disenfranchisement, this feeling of being less than, and like what took him down this path. And like, it would be impossible for us to have gotten this information thus far anyway. But it's also really easy to believe because they've been saying it this whole time. And you saw it with the witches, the same thing.
Yep.
Their concern with the Jedi was them being the arbiters of the Force and telling people that they can and can't use it, and telling people, even if you can use it, this is how you can use it, or you can only use it when we are the ones who are telling you that it's okay to use it. Like that's insane. Like it's crazy to believe that like people would not rise up against that type of prohibition, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, so that's where I like to see. I mean, B-Mad brings up a good point too. Yord didn't even know what a Sith was. He's like, when he's talking to Osha, he's like, I don't know what the fuck it is. I just know he doesn't play by the rules of combat, which is like so Yordy. You know what I mean? Like, he literally says, I don't know what it is, but he doesn't play by the rules of combat. Yeah. It's like, and it's like such a tool.
The lack of knowledge should not be surprising. Like the lack of knowledge by these Padawans and these fresh knights isn't surprising, because the Jedi the Jedi aren't teaching them. The Jedi aren't keeping them prepared, which is why in 100 years, this order falls completely. It's gone.
Yep. Great point.
And it's like, it would be different if it was like, well, why are they so stupid? In 100 years, they stopped the Sith from rising, but they don't. They don't stop them. And they don't stop them from rising right under their nose. So this, like, everything that's happening in this show leads perfectly into the prequels.
Yeah, I dig it. And just one more thing from Yord, R.I.P., the Yord Horde. But at the same moment where he's talking to Osha, like, oh yeah, hey, you don't follow the rules, he also says he somehow gets in people's heads and stays there. And Osha goes, so could my mom. She got in a Jedi's head once. So this, to me, it's like, we're making even clearer connections between Sith/Dark Side and the Witch Coven. And, I have some theories we may get into at the end. So
yeah, like, which mom is she referring to? Is she referring to Anastasia, or is she referring to Coral?
Right.
Which probably Coral.
Yeah, because again, we still don't know which one of the witches infected Torben. They were all standing there. It's not like Mother raised her hand or did a Jedi wave. It just fucking happened. So
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Trust me, I saw a few more connections between the Sith, maybe Khmer, the witches, saw all that stuff. But hey, we'll get in there. We're still trying to answer questions, for Christ's sake. All right. How does Smilo Aaron see out of his helmet? Yeah, you know.
How does
with the Force, dude? I mean, there's a little slit in there. Hasbro's releasing one you can take home. It's actually bronze, as you might have seen at the end of this episode. But
yeah.
You know, hey, Force user, little slit. There we go. Easy.
Yeah, that's it. Or maybe the helmet sat so far above his head that he was looking out the mouth hole.
He's like it's like a fucking mascot head. Lord of Thane's like, no question. Just wanted to say I like the show more and more with every episode. It kind of goes that way.
Yeah, man.
Rebel Scum Photography. Which Jedi kill was your favorite? They're going with the kebab.
I think that mine, and it's gonna be like maybe it's not the coolest one visually, but the one that was most shocking to me was Yord, for sure, dude. Like the kebab was gnarly, and like so was like Jackie, like the rapid succession, 3 shots, but like, dude, the way that Yord went out, like I told Matt before we went live, like I audibly gasped.
It's pretty in your face. I mean,
it was like we'd never seen never seen anything like that in Star Wars.
A little more shocking than a Force choke. I mean, that's pretty personal, especially after you go surprise, break your arm, break your neck.
Yeah, dude. Just like it happened so quickly that I was like, oh, like I just. Yeah, shocking.
Yeah,
like, fucking incredible.
It's a tough one, man. That like in my notes, I just as soon as the episode started, I was like the fucking double impale decapitation, saber throw boomerang. I don't think we've seen a boomerang throw yet, right? I mean, I know Vader has tossed his, but I don't think we've ever seen one return. I know Saul kind of deflected it, but
like pushed it back.
Man, shit.
Dude,
I'm gonna have to go with Rebel Scum. Just like the double impale head slap. That's just something you probably wouldn't expect Disney to okay. So
I know, dude. It's like, and I know, like, look, I know that they didn't show the decaps, but like it happened, and you know it happened, and like
Jackie's was overly violent too. So it's just like it's a tough one here. Rebel Scum. Good question. All right, props. A statement here. I thought Manny had a stunt double for how buff the double was, but turns out he bulked up. Yeah, kudos to Manny Jacinto. That guy's a fucking pimp. He is like how when May shows up and he slips right back into the goofy Khmer tone. He's like,
oh, hey.
Yeah. And then he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and drags her over and starts again personally choke her instead of force choking. You gotta like that. Okay, there you go. We got through the Ask Us Anything segment. Beautiful.
Right. Tone's saying Vader snapped Antilles' neck in A New Hope. Yeah, I mean he did, but this was way more visceral because like when he's in my mind when I was looking at Yord, he's down on the ground in front of him.
It was an execution, man.
Yeah, like it was. I thought that he was almost gonna like play with him a little bit or like stab him in the back with the lightsaber, but like just how fast he was on the ground and then just effortlessly snap this dude's neck.
Yeah,
I was you
gotta love the Vader choke, but it's slow, methodical, and it's like okay. I mean, it was just like see ya.
Yeah,
it was violent looking.
It was violent. That's that's the best. It was violent, and like, whew.
Love it, man. Love it. All right. So before we get into the Acolyte, which we've already been talking about it for 37 minutes, even though people are asking us random questions, we still somehow tie it back to last night. And kudos to the Acolyte team for doing that. But real quick, just in case you've missed this, and I'm not really sure why this is news. It's like okay, no shit, Sherlock type of stuff. But just in case you didn't see it, we're getting some confirmation here, at least from this janky site. Apparently, they talked to someone that has directed Ben Mendelsohn, another show, and they're also a director on Andor Season 2. And they happen to reveal, like, oh, yeah, I love directing the vets like Stellan and Forrest and Ben Mendelsohn. So people are like, oh, yeah, Krennic's back for Andor. And then Diego was doing a tour. He's like, hey, we're going to see a lot of familiar Rogue One faces. And I'm just going... how's this news? I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, Tony Gilroy laid out the exact map for Andor season 2, saying every 3 episodes or whatever is going to be a year, and we are literally going to walk Cassian right up to the point where he's getting ready to leave to go take out his contact from Saul.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah, no shit. Krennic's going to be in there. No shit. Some of the other people are going to be in there. Who cares? It's over a year away. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Anything to add to that? Like I said, it's just just wanted to get it out there. Just wanted to get it out there.
I mean, I'm happy that he's coming back because obviously
he's awesome.
Krennic as a character plays a huge role in this, in this era and like leading into Rogue One, and obviously Ben Mendelsohn's a fantastic actor.
He's pretty good. Got a lot of people here. I've been seeing this pop up. Bango, one of them here. Kind of hope they Rogue One it and just squad wipe Acolyte. I mean, we're pretty damn close. So
100%, dude. Like the only one who's left is Soul now. Yeah, like that's the only one.
The thing that's going to be questionable, and listen, I'm going to let it play out before I cast final judgment, but we do know from the trailers, and I've actually looked at it's kind of a compilation, Nick, of what has not been shown yet. And we still have Vernestra seemingly headed to Kofor herself. Not sure if Saul calls and be like, yo, fuck, I'm out of here. But you got to come because fucking this guy's still here and we lost May again and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I mean, like
we've got the, the ship to ship fight, and it looks like in the moon ring of Brendok. So yeah, there's no way Saul's making it out. If the Darksiders do, that doesn't really matter. And even if the twins do, I don't think that matters either. So all of you that were worried, pretty much all the Jedi that are in the know have already been taken care of. So
yeah, for sure. Tone's asking if they do that, how they go S2.
She's already let me just say this now, since we're off the Andor shit. And this is another PSA. And I believe I shared this article in our Discord. Free to join. Go ahead, check out our Instagram at StarWarsTime.show. But she explains here at the end, Nick, like she, unlike other creators, did not bank on getting another season. So she has thrown it all into season 1, but she goes on to say, like, listen, I've got 4 or 5 major mysteries that I'd like to hit if season 2 of the show gets renewed by Disney Plus.
Dude, so just give it to me. Come on. And the thing is like, while we're used to like, oh, well, season 2 has to be all the same characters or something like that. Like, just because the majority of the characters are dead, even if Soul is dead, the main characters of this show are Osha and May. Like and like while they have like taken background roles, while the Jedi have taken, the foreground, they are still the ones that this mystery circulates around. Mm-hmm. So like, even if all the Jedi don't make it out, there's still other stories to be told. And,
they're gonna have to question something in the second season. Like, oh yeah, hey, what the fuck happened to that Soul guy? He was kind of nice to have around the small council. Now he's fucking gone. And Yorn, where's that dipshit at? He was kind of fun to make fun of. He hasn't been around ever since he left with Soul. What the fuck happened?
I mean,
here's her exact quote. Something that I've noticed is first seasons will end on what should have been the break into Act 2. It feels like everyone's really expecting their shows to get a second season, and I don't feel that's a good idea. I threw everything into season 1 because who knows what's going to happen.
Hey, I mean, she's 100% right. Like, nothing's guaranteed now, especially in Star Wars, especially with the fandom and the state that it's in.
Even this thing seemingly getting a lot of viewership, Lucasfilm could be like, you know what? This ain't worth the fucking bullshit that's happening on social media for anyone involved, so fuck it. We're out.
So, I mean, you can never tell.
Unless, Nick, they see a clear profit line, then it doesn't matter, right? Like, if Iger sees a clear profit somehow from this show, it'll get it. They'll ignore all the other stuff. All right. Yeah. Good stuff there, Tones. Thank you. Okay. Well, Nick, let's get into it. But by the way, really, people, read this article. It's pretty fucking eye-opening. Manny Jacinto just comes straight out like, yeah, I'm playing a Sith Lord, and this is some of the things we were working on. And, Saul kind of JJ kind of brings up some things about his character. So check it out. Linked in our Discord in the spoiler channel. All right, my man, it is that time. probably spend the rest of the show outside the fan segment, so, don't give up, to go through the Acolyte Episode 5 Night. I mean, I think it's pretty clear how we feel, but by all means, lay it on us, Nick. How'd this one tickle your taint?
Yeah, I mean, this, going into this episode, we knew that there was going to be the battle. We didn't know how, how quickly it would happen, or if it would be the battle and then some more stuff. But I think that this episode was clearly the best of the season. I think that this episode had some of the best lightsaber fighting that we've seen in Star Wars in 25 years. So take that back. That's 1999. That's right to Duel of Fates. I think that everything about this episode just felt so good. It felt so fun to watch. I think that the character reveals, while we had already kind of figured it out, still was impactful, and to see how the characters reacted to it was awesome. And just to see how visceral this episode got, for lack of a better term, we haven't seen we haven't seen something like this since the hallway scene in Rogue One.
And Nick, I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually contrast that in my video breakdown. Please check it out, people. I'm proud of this one. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm usually proud of most of my shit. I wouldn't put it out, but I think I made some good points in this breakdown. The one being the Vader hallway scene, and yes, you're right, but that scene, in my opinion, Nick, still doesn't hold a candle to what Kamir did against 9 Jedi. Oh, no, Vader's fighting rebel schmoes with no force behind them.
Exactly.
Right? Kamir took on masters, Padawans, and knights, and it didn't even look like a challenge until Saul. And it almost felt like he was letting Saul just kind of have fun with him, to goad him to get his darkness to come out a bit more.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean,
I agree. Go ahead. You can wrap your quick recap and review here, but I'm with you. It was probably the most brutal Sith action what we've ever seen.
Yeah, and I mean, all credit to Manny Jacinto. I mean, playing that role, like you mentioned, so perfectly. He really, I think that we get to, people who watch TV shows, especially Star Wars stuff, get so caught up in the fact that I saw it coming. I knew it was him the whole time.
Speaking of that, Nick, Leslie actually explains in that article, this is why it's so good. Hey, listen, we figured a lot of people would guess this, but we didn't care. We just wanted to make sure the reveal hit and it was done the right way, and sure shit, it was fantastic. Yeah.
And it's guess what, people watching Star Wars who are in their 30s or older, this stuff is made for kids and teenagers. I would feel bad for you.
Especially this show.
Yeah. I would feel bad for you if you didn't guess what the twist was. You're old and you have a brain. It's made for, go back and listen to George Lucas and everybody else. Star Wars is made for kids. If you feel super high because you figured out the twist of a kid's show, good on you.
Oh, I did week one when it wasn't popular. You gotta remember, I put this out there week one after we met this guy. Everyone jumped on it after last week when Leslie had a billboard the whole episode going, he's the fucking guy in the helmet. He's the fucking guy in the helmet. It's well, yeah.
So I mean, if you're upset that you saw it coming, it's good job, man. You saw it coming for the show that's made for teenage kids. And if that's your reason for not liking it is that stuff is telegraphed, I just got to say, learn to enjoy things. It's entertainment content.
No, even better. If you live in a state where it's legal, start smoking weed before you watch stuff like this.
Yeah, it hits harder.
Yeah, you'll be fucking A, this is great. Oh. Yeah, everything's better on that stuff. So.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, I mean, right. I can't find anything in this episode that I can find that even the darkest part of my soul could find umbrage with. All right. This episode was just so good.
I'll throw some shade at it. Why not? Just to prove we're not full shills. But to kind of echo Nick, here are my first few notes that I kind of write for myself as I'm watching to help me frame my review the next day. Wow. Fucking amazing. Some of the best Sith saber fights ever. Kamir is a pimp. Soul is fucked up. Knights of Ren origins and Kylo's motif interesting. Okay, so yeah, I absolutely love this episode. It had my heart racing from start to finish. I had a hard time sleeping because of how much my mind was racing over it, thinking about everything I just witnessed. What may have happened in the past to motivate these people now in the present? What's going to happen in the future? I just was in Star Wars speculation heaven. It was amazing. And so I got to give all credit to this episode and the team that brought it to life. Now, you heard me say I was going to, ding it a little bit. And I will be, because, listen, I used to be a professional critic, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, using the same actor, playing the same character, or twins, and how you have to shoot that and edit it. But I feel like the pace of this episode was just kick-ass, and then we hit the May and Osha reunion, and it's like the brakes were slammed on. I get it. You can't have action the whole episode. But it just, when these two are together, something is off for me. I don't know if it's performance, direction, the set looking a little janky, even though it's practical. It just kind of, I was just like, all right, let's get through this part, and that was it. Like, a very minor complaint. But overall, Nick's right. Best episode so far. What's crazy is I honestly think out of 6, 7, and 8, they can top this, which. Mm-hmm. Is very exciting to think about here. So there you go. That's kind of how we're feeling on this. I don't know. We got a fun person in here, Tom. I can tell they're trying the goad, but it's fun. Tom, if you love the show and you think Jar Jar fighting droids was better choreography than this show, that is completely your right to think, okay? It's wrong, but it's your right. Thank you. All right, dude. So kind of getting into some of the nitty gritty here, just getting into the top moments, because that's clearly going to spark some conversation. And how could you not lead with the first fight? I mean, you just get right into it. Osha wakes her dead ass up and, hears some walks over, and you just are already witness to, holy shit. This is a different type of Sith, and this is a different type of lightsaber battle, 9v1, just whacking people left and right. Getting to see his Cortosis helmet short-circuiting sabers and not understanding how that was happening at first until you had to look for shit after the episode.
That I will say that was a moment for me, because I don't look at anything before I watch it, and I watch it before we do the show, so I watched it today. When I saw that happen, I was like, this is directly from old Legends EU canon.
Yeah, he in his arsenal of moves is a lightsaber headbutt.
Yeah, dude, it's literally, Cortosis was introduced in Legends canon and was literally, before anything else, was the material that was used, that certain factions could use against Jedi if you could get it, because it disrupted lightsabers. And to see that being used here, I was like, oh my, I can't believe that they did that. I can't believe that they brought it in.
And then, they're like, oh shit, it doesn't work. And then she goes and fights, like, okay, stab through your guts. Oh, that guy's behind you. Rip through there. And just in case I didn't hit a vital organ, let's go ahead and slash those heads off. And didn't skip a beat. Then he looks over and sees Osha or whatever. He starts, marching. I mean, he's just so freaking menacing, man. He is like a Jason Voorhees type of character, running through the woods, chasing, camp members. Yeah, that's the other thing I loved about this guy. He would be kicking the shit out of someone, then just to fuck with him, he'd just disappear.
Yeah,
he did it to Saul. He did it to Jecki the first time they kind of went to blows. Once he pretty much has them beat, he's like, you know what, I see ya. I need to go track down May and exact some vengeance on her first. Then I'll take care of you people. So this opening scene really kind of set the tone for the episode. It set the tone for the type of duel choreography we should expect throughout the episode. And really, things did not slow down from here. I mean, this bled right into the saber boomerang and some other great moments. So yeah, that was absolutely excellent way to kick off the episode here.
Yeah.
Moment 2, and we've been talking about this, and again, R.I.P. Padawan Jecki, or as Kamir calls her, It. You had to love that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that's its name.
Yeah, dude. Just such. Oh God.
And then Saul's like, she was just a child. And he's like, you brought her here, pal. Like, you fucked up, not me. Like, who's dumb enough to bring a kid to chase down potential dark side users? So, but anyways, back to the fight here. Yeah, Sir Dork, he takes it right in the Sir Dork's
he
asking.
Gets stabbed through the chest.
Yeah, he's right before he starts disabling lightsabers with his head. He gets one through his back, right through the heart, for sure. Tom asking, is cortosis kind of rare in the galaxy? I would assume so. In the Jedi's facing its factory. Yeah, from when I looked on Wikipedia, it seems limited to only 2 planets. It was first canonized in the New Dawn book that Dave Filoni did a forward for because it featured Kanan and Hera, I believe. What's crazy is I don't think it's as rare as Beskar, but tell me if I'm stupid, it seems more powerful than Beskar.
Yeah, it has like a disruptive quality to it. I mean, like, I'm not sure in canon the first time it was like introduced. Like you said, it's New Dawn. I haven't read that book, but I do remember in old Legends canon, that's where Darth Bane was like found. He was mining cortosis on a planet. I think it was, oh man, I can't remember the planet.
It's on Wikipedia, and if that maintained, it's literally 2 planets you can get this shit. So.
Yeah, and it is very rare. It's very rare to find, and even when you find it, it's not found in large quantities. So usually, you wouldn't find like a full cortosis armor set because there's just not a lot of it. Like, you know, those people who would be fighting against like Force users, whether they be Sith or Jedi, and they didn't have the ability to have a lightsaber, would make a cortosis blade so they could have it, like, stand a chance against that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was all new to me, but I thought it was awesome. It looked awesome. The visuals were great. I mean, he used it a few times throughout the episode. Even his gauntlet had it on there. He did it to Saul once too. I noticed a lot of these Force users of this era like gauntlets. Saul had some. Yord had some. Kamir was wearing one. I don't know what that's all about, but hey, there you go. Yeah, it's just it's weird. It's like, I don't know. I mean, if I was a Mandalorian and I really wanted to have one up on a Jedi, I think I would switch to cortosis. Maybe it's not as smooth looking. It doesn't smelt as well, but it seems way more effective fighting a Jedi than just armor that can deflect.
Apatros was the name of the planet in old canon. That's where Bane was found mining cortosis, was Apatros.
It's a good point there, Tones. Tones saying, notice they made a point of pausing on Kalnaka's damaged saber after Jecki dropped it. Wonder if Vernestra will find it, giving her a clue to what went down. Yeah,
maybe.
For whatever reason, she I believe heads to Kofor. Maybe it's no one's responding because, you know, Saul, he's all fucked up now, and who knows what his next move's going to be. Yeah. Or maybe he lets her know, but she's definitely coming.
Yeah, I mean, Vernestra is also the only one that knows that they're going there. Like, I don't think that anybody else on the small council even knows that they were on this mission to Kofor.
I think the council might have, because she initially introduced the mission to them when the other master was supposed to lead it. But, you know, as we said last week, she's the ringleader of this cover-up. So she is committed to this, Nick. And she, I believe, is going to go there, you know, maybe to see what happened to her friends, but more importantly, to make sure to cover shit up.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be some level of cover-up here. And the reality of the fact is that, like, when she gets here, there's no reason for her to believe if Soul isn't there or if somebody is not there to tell her what happened.
Check this out from Devin real quick. Sorry to cut you off. You might like it, though. Might be going to where you're going. Maybe she'll cover it all up by saying Kalnaka went crazy again and murdered his fellow Jedi.
I mean, it could be, but that's the thing that I was going to say is that she may not do it as a cover-up. Like, how is she supposed to know that a Sith did this? Like, if there's no, like, he left no evidence. It's not like there's a red lightsaber that's just laying there. Right. He took his helmet with him, even though it was
you're right,
broken.
Because they're still under assumption it's someone. It's a Jedi splinter group. So even if people have lightsaber slashes, that's not going to be instantly, oh fuck, Sith.
Yeah, and like, and she goes there if she sees Kalnaka's blade, like, and then like sees Kalnaka's dead body, dead from a lightsaber slash. Then like, what? Like, it's hard to put that together because it's already been made clear that they are not in a headspace to be like, the Sith are back, the dark side users are back, and the dark side users are
She's the closest, right? Because she's the one like, hey, I feel like it's almost like they're trying to tip the scales, right? So she may understand it more than she's really letting on to the audience, but I still think she's fully committed to making sure this does not make it beyond the small council or even at this point the crew here.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, back to the top moment, the Jecki fight. Really, I thought both of them, because there were two, were fantastic. I absolutely loved when she does pull out the dual blade and how smooth that looked. I was like, damn, man. I mean, I know this is an unpopular thing to say, but she might have put on one of the most badass Padawan performance against a Sith Lord or a dark side pimp that we've ever seen. And the other one that we can compare it to would be Obi-Wan versus Maul there at the end.
Yeah.
I know Obi-Wan won, so there's that, but I don't know, man. I think Kamir would wipe fucking the mat with Darth Maul. I'm sorry, dude.
I mean, just based off of what we saw, I mean, he was clean with it, and he didn't seem panicked at all. And like, he also didn't, like, what Maul's thing is that he was overconfident. Like, his overconfidence.
He was starting to toy with him when he shouldn't have, where Kamir toyed with everyone and it didn't matter.
Yeah, like, he was just like on a different level, and both Obi and Jecki were Padawan, and they both look clean with it. And like, I don't know, dude, it was awesome. I mean, same thing. Anakin Skywalker was a Padawan when he fought fucking Dooku in episode 2.
Yeah,
and he got waxed.
And listen, they were like 20-year-old or almost 20 I think Obi-Wan was like 24. Jecki, as Sol said, is a child, so there's that too.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible levels of competency with the dual sabers, and like, just like, it was so cool to watch, dude. It was so cool to watch.
Yeah, McNugget, I know I've said it twice now on camera. It's out there. I did it in my review, and I just said it now. That's fine.
Bro.
We've been crucified just for saying lightly positive things for the show, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They'll just tell me that I don't know shit. I'm not a real fan. I'm an idiot. It's fine. TomTom34 is making a good point here, and it's probably why Jecki ultimately lost. And I buy into this, saying in her last moment, she charged with some sort of anger, even with only one lightsaber. She did. I mean, she's like, pop, 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 knocks his mask off and kind of lost her balance. Yeah. And you know what? We'll just get into it, because that was my third top moment. It not Jecki's death, but that they used her body as a curtain to do the reveal of Kamir. I thought that was just a fantastic stylistic choice. And it was an amazing kill. We were talking about most brutal. This probably technically was, because you got to think it is a child. It is a lesser than Force user than what seems like a getting close to a master Darksider. But the way he does it, like TomTom says, she's coming at him a little off balance. He slyly untwists his saber to reveal his shorter dagger, blocks her with one, and then goes cha 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 cha, just like that. And the body falls, and there he is, and then he fucking poses like a pimp. What a reveal!
So good.
What a reveal,
good, man. Yeah, I mean, I can't ask for anything better. Like, that was like, there was no cleaner way to do that. Like, the only, like, could you have done something similar that happened with Vader and Rebels, where it's like a half-mask cut reveal? Yeah, you could. But like, that was so just sinister the way that it happened. And it was like, yeah, like you said, dropping the body of a Padawan, and then like the full.
He's like, "Hello, I'm here."
Just
welcome.
Clean. Clean.
That pose is so fucking bad. Like, so, you know, samurai, like, Because I do believe his second blade would be similar to like a samurai's.
It is. It's like it's a Shoto blade.
Okay.
Is what they would call it, like in terms of its length. Yeah.
Yeah. Mando mugshots, bring back Nick Gillard. So I'm assuming you didn't like the choreography, which I actually think looked very Nick Gillard-ish. So I don't know about that
like
one.
we could bring Nick Gillard back onto this show, and he would tell you himself that this was good.
I don't know if he would, because he's very anti-Disney anything. But
if he looked at it objectively,
yeah,
he would say, because he explained to us everything that he did in the prequels, and everything that he explained to us is exactly what they did.
It looked just as fast and frenetic. So we'll just have to disagree on that one. Mando mugshots. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, I mean, seeing this guy come out, and then he's just so cool, calm, and collected, sitting there talking to Saul, dropping some shit on him. Let me see if I can find some of the lines here. But it was just from start to finish, if you take his initial reveal in episode 4 and then extend it through 5, just outside of the sheer newness and shock of seeing Darth Vader crash through the door of the Tantive 4, and then, Maul cross arm showing up in the red face paint, is there a better introduction to a dark side character ever than Kamir?
Dude, I don't know, man.
From start to finish,
Yeah, I think that I'm trying to think of the other ones. I mean, Kylo was pretty straightforward. There was no big
dun 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 dun. We'll be spending some time on that theme, by the way. Yeah, because it's in the show.
It was
Palpatine.
It was such a clean reveal, like you said, from the moment he kind of floated down in the last episode to the face reveal in this one. I mean, I think it was super solid.
Even before he kills Jackie, he's got May down. He's like, look, Jackie's a good pupil. She's loyal. And he's like, as he's fighting one, he's talking shit to his own. I mean, he's just such a perfect Darksider. We talked about how he just vanishes when he's about to win, just playing with these people. All right, so yeah, the reveal was great. I've got so many highs. That's where a lot of the meat's going to come here. And my final top moment, big surprise, another kind of heavy action scene here. But I absolutely really, really appreciated the fact that he shit-talked Soul so much, made Soul think about the Jedi Code so much that he does put his saber down, and they do ultimately go to fisticuffs.
Just fight.
And fight. Dude, they're throwing fucking haymakers. You got some of that kung fu shit in there. Master Soul lost his shit. He fully Luke Skywalkered there. He was like, pop, 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 picks up his saber, casually walking over, ready to fucking chop his head off. And what happens? His version of Anakin Skywalker runs in at the last moment and says, no, that's not the Jedi way.
Exactly.
Fuck you, OSHA.
Exactly. Just the perfect mirroring of that scene with Mace and Palpatine.
100%, right? I mean,
and the thing is it's like Mace did the opposite. Mace was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to chop his head off, because I know if I don't,
we're fucked.
Then it's going to get real bad.
Yeah.
And dude, in this one, he should have chopped, fucking Soul should have chopped his head off.
She got him, man. And it's like,
I know.
I think that moment to me, Nick, is we will explore Soul's darkness. I don't think he's truly a Darksider, though, because of that.
No.
But this is definitely mirroring the moment with Palpatine, Mace, and Anakin, and that it is on purpose. It's to show you, what these kind of malleable type of Force users can do when they don't really know what the fuck they want, but they think they know what's right, and they think they know what Jedi should be doing, and she really does fuck it all up. And I think we're going to see now that it is going to come back and bite Saul in the ass with OSHA doing it to him, just like Anakin ultimately had to help Palpatine take out Mace Windu. But we'll get there once we talk about the Parent Trap stuff. So those are the 4 top moments. I mean, really, the whole fucking episode was tops outside of May and OSHA having their little family get together. But whatever, we can get past that. So getting into some of the Easter eggs, we've already talked about cortosis, so I don't really think we need to get back into that. It's a very odd name. It sounds like some medical condition that's not good. You know what I mean? It's like the Star Wars version of sepsis or something. Yeah, Tom, that's a good point. Mace had no attachment to Anakin, so that definitely that's why Saul kind of listened. And here, listen, I think the other thing is, like, he already knows that he's fucked up this girl so much that he's just like, fuck, I can't. I gotta put on the good guy stuff. Like, I gotta show her that I am good, and I've always tried to do the right thing for her, even though the first thing he probably did for her was the wrong thing. Anyways, all right. So we got the cortosis thing. We literally just talked. I wrote down Osha pulls and Anakin was Saul over Kamir. So I'm glad you kind of fell right in line with that as well. We had how about this one? And I don't know if it was in episode 4 with these two alien figures out by their ship, but practical Djarik. Seems they didn't invent the hollow table version yet that we see Chewbacca playing in A New Hope. But you can see they even have the same little pieces there, all whittled out on wood, playing on a tree stump. And then the one that should be a little bit of fun, and we'll see where we want to go with this. Yes, we had a force heal coming from the sequel trilogy. Last night the intern was asking, he's like, is that witch stuff? Is that arcane force? I'm like, no, that comes from the Jedi books, because Rey's the one that kind of introduced that from the book itself. Now, yeah, I do think that it feels very force arcane, that, you know, stuff the Night Sisters would get into, or the Witch Coven. But it does seem to be a known force power that Jedi have used before and potentially forgot because they were in those stupid books, but the Sith did not, as we can see here. But the important thing here, Nick, they didn't even try to fucking hide it. At the very end, when he's kind of bending over what is now Osha, and I think he knows it's Osha. He's not stupid like Saul. Plus, you know, Osha has the clear tattoo marker to let us know.
Yeah, come on.
But if you listen closely, and please go check out this guy. I think his name's Ashton Baird on Instagram. He's like a composer or something. He does musical analysis. It's very interesting. But this, you don't even have to like know music. They play the Kylo Ren theme as he walks up. Why? All right. And then as he puts the cloak on Osha, this Ashton guy, this is the one I kind of missed. The Kylo one is so in your ears, you can't miss it. And then he puts the cloak on Osha. It's a motif that comes from some Palpatine stuff. So is that saying that Osha might be in Palpatine's line of Darksiders? I don't know. I kind of like it. The thing with Kylo Ren's theme, Nick, and I don't know if we've talked about this before, or if I read it somewhere before, but I ran with it today in my own breakdown. Could we possibly be seeing how the Order of the Knights of Ren start? It could Kamir kind of be the prototype, this dark side user that might think they're a Sith, but they're not really. They are kind of a poser, but they do have the ability to do some pretty amazing shit. I mean, let's be real. Ren himself, if you read the comics, it's almost like he had a picture of Kamir in his wallet and said, when I grow up, I want to look like this guy. I mean, the helmets are very similar among the Knights of Ren. Ren himself, kind of like Kamir, liked to have his guns hanging out. His skin was all charred up and it looked tattooed at times. So I don't know. Why put in the Kylo Ren motif? Because he's not a Sith. Hopefully everyone knew that. Kylo Ren was never a Sith. Like that he never was. So is that to kind of tip the hat to us? Like, hey, Kamir might imply to the Jedi that they would call him a Sith, but he never said he was a Sith. I know Manny Jacinto, the guy's saying he's a Sith Lord. Could we be seeing a potential tie or through line to the Knights of Ren?
I mean, we definitely could. You know, I mean, that whole organization is so new, and we don't know how long it's been around. You know, I think that the only thing that we know is the original Ren, who was the original leader of the Knights of Ren.
And I don't even think he was. I think he killed the guy before him. It's almost like to become the leader. Again, kind of Sith-like.
Yeah, just kind of like the Sith.
You kill the guy that calls himself Ren.
Yeah. So, I mean, this organization could be around for much longer than just the sequel timeline. I mean, we don't know.
That's what I'm saying. This could be the Genesis. Like instead of being Sith, because whatever they weren't invited into the Rule of Two. A guy like Kamir kind of is like, well, I'm gonna do my own fucking thing then. I'm gonna get my own acolytes.
Yeah,
and that could spot, because I mean, look, you don't play Kylo's music for no reason, because he was the Knight of Ren. He killed the Ren of his time and assumed the mantle. So it's like, I don't know. It's
could be,
talking with Connor from Beyond the Dune Sea. He's like, I could see it. I wouldn't love it. And I'm like, I would rather see a through line right into, Palpatine's lineage, which we may still get. But it just seemed a little too obvious to kind of take a guy that wears a Knights of Ren like helmet, kind of looks like the Ren we all know from comics, and then plays the motif for the current Knight of Ren that we saw in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. Like I said in the last episode that we had, it's a time period where like people are so caught up on the fact that like, oh, well, there can only be two dark side people. There can only be blah, blah, blah. But like even in old canon, there was more than two people who claimed that they were Sith masters, or two people that there were more than two apprentices at the same time to the same master, and all this other stuff. So like everybody who's like trying to be slavishly like committed to this rule of two, even in old canon, people weren't slavishly committed to the rule of two when they were practicing it.
Right.
And not to mention the pretenders and the other Dark Force users that were out there in the galaxy that had no interest in being the Sith Lord to take over the galaxy again. Like there were so many different types of Dark Force users out there at the same time that like being caught up on this like Rule of Two thing is a little ridiculous.
No, you're correct. And it's like Bad is saying here. I mean, Kamir's like, yo, I want to use the Force how I want, not how the Jedi tell me I have to. So is that Sithy? Sure. Does he know the Sith code? Yeah, but he could still be a poser. Right? Like Nick's saying, he could be a poser. He could be doing his own thing right here. We've all identified, like, if this guy was a legit Rule of Two Sith master, there's no fucking shot in hell he's out here doing stuff on the field, hitting the ground like a soldier. There's no way. They don't do that shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said, like, multiple times over. It's like the master of a Rule of Two Sith duo is not going to do what Kamir just did. He's not going to put himself in harm's way and risk outing everything. Like Soul said, like, why would you come out of hiding for something like this?
Exactly.
Like that's some apprentice shit.
Yeah, so, like Tom's saying, but then raise the question why he wants. Well, that's what Sith do. I mean, Darth Vader tried to do it with Luke. Yeah. Palpatine did it with Maul, then Dooku, then Anakin. They're always, even the apprentice, as Vader was, they're always looking for their own acolyte to then overthrow the master. Yeah, that's just their dynamic. So
like while it is Rule of Two, a master and apprentice, the master's got another apprentice. The apprentice has an acolyte that he's training up.
Secret from the master.
Yeah, secret from the master that he's training up to help him take down the master. There are, it is a web of just like all of these like tangentially connected people that are connected to the two official ones. But yeah, like you read the books, read the comics, old canon, new canon, it's all the same. That when you're in this Rule of Two system, you are cultivating your own people to eventually either kill your apprentice because you think that they're too weak and have this new person take their place, or the apprentice trains up somebody that they think is strong enough to help take down the master, and then he becomes the master, or they become the master.
And the best part is, the acolyte you train to help you take out the master will then take you out at some point in time. So, yay, Sith!
Yeah, that's the way of the Sith.
Yeah, it's like, Tom, like he could train so well. Maybe that's why he does kind of even splinter out of that and starts this order of knights, dark side knights. I don't know. Like listen, I think we're gonna find out everything by the end of episode 8. this is the fun shit for me with this series is they're giving us so much, but yet we still have so many questions because of what has come before it. So I dig it. Another question Tom had that I wanted to ask Nick, and this is just my take on it. If you remember early on, after he's done murdering a bunch of random Jedi and slash Yord, Osha runs and he throws the boomerang at her. You know, I think Tom was asking, like, why would he want to kill her if he ultimately, by the end, it's looking like he wants to train her? Well, again, he's a Darksider. Like, at that point in time, I think he was ready to mow every single living thing down to kind of maintain the secrecy or whatnot. So I don't think he really had a plan to keep anyone alive. He even wanted to murder May. So
yeah, like he was trying to kill all of them. I think that once everything settled and he realized, like, okay, I won, like, clearly.
Yeah, he's like, holy shit, look, this is a gift. They left this other one here that I've kind of been sensing all along might be easier to convince than even the darker one.
Yeah, like, hey, let me take this one now, because there's no point in killing her. What's the point in killing her? You can't leave her. Like, you have two options. You either kill her or you take her with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, that takes us to this quote, which I love the quote, so I searched it up. I'm like, damn, that's a good quote. And apparently it's somewhat a paraphrasing of a Jordan Peterson quote. I don't know if you all are familiar with this man. He's really, depending on what side of the political spectrum you're on, you might think he's awesome, or you might think he's a big, rage baiting idiot. So I don't want to get into that, but I appreciated the line in the moment. Kamir says, "What extraordinary beings we are! Even in the revelation of our triumph, you see the depth of our despair." As he's kind of sitting over his potential new acolyte and discussing, like, hey, listen, we just kicked some ass, but you can see people like us, how fucked we are. The Jedi are telling us how we got to live. They're taking us from our families. They're controlling how we use our powers, all that type of fun stuff. And if you read that EW article, man, he's like, yeah, that line to me is kind of like everything's different now. The deck has been reshuffled now that the Parent Trap is set. So that line is kind of like Kamir getting excited for the final act of his plan.
And look, I mean, what better way, if you really want to fuck with Soul, if you really want to put him in a position where he is going to be as mentally weak as possible, what do? You get this girl and you go straight back to the scene of the crime.
I really think we're about to, and it's not going to be as powerful, but we're going to come to an Anakin Obi-Wan moment between Soul and Osha. I'm telling you, I can see it now. I mean, I can see it. I know Osha, she was still trying to do the right thing till the end, but just the hug from her sister, the tear, and then you can't tell me spending time with Kamir, Q, is not going to get her twisted a bit. All right?
Yeah. I mean, for sure, especially when, because here's the thing, he's prodding at Soul, like,
yes,
why do you wear, like essentially telling him, like, oh, why do you wear a mask? Like when Soul asks him, like, why don't you reveal your face to your Padawan or to your apprentice?
Yeah, what does that mean? He
throws it right back at him. And then he says, oh, mentioning Soul's darkness. Like, he knows something. Like, Kamir knows details that Osha doesn't know, and maybe May knows because of May's, May's been working with him.
Yeah, here's the line. Kamir says, I accept my darkness. What have you done with yours? He knows a lot about Soul. Are they related? Yeah. Lost brothers. I saw this online. This could be a stretch, but I guess Kamir could be Kamar in Arabic, which means moon, and Soul obviously means sun.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know about that. We were talking about this before we went online. Let's just run with it now. I mean, when Soul and Kamir first initially duel, Kamir's kind of taunting them, and he's like, "Oh, you don't know who I am," and Saul's like, "Or you don't remember me?" And Saul's like, "Yeah, I do sense a familiar presence," and Nick and I were like, well, was that from their meeting in the apothecary shop, or is Kamir hinting at something even further back in time?
An even deeper connection,
right.
That. And like we keep saying, it's like when one mystery gets revealed, which in this case, it was, Kamir is the Darth Teeth, whatever you want to call him. Another one is presented. So like, what does he mean by that? Like, what does he mean by, don't I seem familiar? Like, you don't recognize me.
Right.
And I don't it just doesn't make sense that he's referring to the apothecary shop.
You're right, because it's not just, you don't remember me from the shop. He also says things like Nick said, like, hey, what happened to your darkness? Implying that he has seen it before. You know, why are you wearing this mask I see in front of your pupil and not fully revealing who you fully are to Osha? So Kamir, you're right. He 100% knows about Saul's, I keep calling him fucking Saul. Saul's dark deed. Yeah.
I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. I mean, was Kamir on Brendock like at that time? Like, was Kamir a child on Brendock as well?
Well, you know what?
Maybe.
Let me. I want to run with what Tom's saying in a second, but here's kind of my own thought here, and I think you and I might have talked about this. I just wrote down like Kamir had to be there the night of the fire. I think that's a given at this point with how much shade he was kind of throwing at Saul. To me, I think it's also pretty clear the witches used some Sith shit, and they made a deal. That connection was made tonight. Like, hey, that guy, he gets in my head, and Osha's like, oh yeah, my mom could do that too. And I'm thinking here that this. And I want to get to Tom's. I kind of like it, or what you're saying. Maybe Kamir was on Brendock as a younger boy, but here's a kind of my long shot. What if there is a true master and he is a Sith apprentice? What if he sent Kamir, or the master was there on Brendock because they were there to retrieve their prize? They helped the witches create life. When the life became old enough, they were there to kind of retrieve it. The Jedi found out too. They found out about the unnatural birth, and they're like, okay, we got to get these girls too. So that night, Jedi kind of go in there to take the girls, Sith there to take the girls as well. Shit hits the fan. Sith make it look like the Jedi did it. Maybe the Jedi even had to defend themselves and killed some witches too. But it just seems like Kamir would have been there, or the master would have been there. Someone is there to witness what Saul did, and then at the end, someone was there to pick up the fallen May and start conditioning her, like, okay, kill the 4 Jedi, follow the dark side, become an acolyte.
Yeah. I mean, it's very possible. I think that Kamir was there in some way, shape, or form, whether it be like he was there as an apprentice Darksider already, or he was there for some other reason, but like he has intimate knowledge of whatever happened on Brendock and is using that to manipulate Soul in this fight constantly.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I mean, was he the guy that taught the witches? I don't know, but I think he was there that night, aided in what happened, aided in kind of making the Jedi look like it was all their fault, even though they might have helped, or like I said, the witches. I mean, I don't even think it's out on a limb here, but I'm pretty sure episode 7 may be another full flashback episode, because it's being directed by what's his name, Kanaga. He's the guy that did 3, and the way this series has gone, directors got 2 episode blocks. So it just makes sense that after next week, and we kind of pick up the pieces of 5, and I'm thinking we do end up on Brendock by the end of episode 6, that 7, we get the other side of the story. Other
point of view for all of the George Lucas fans. I mean, we're all George Lucas fans, but from day one with George Lucas, certain points of view.
Always.
Certain points of view. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, there's just, and I'm glad I missed a lot of these trailers, because if you go to Star Wars Leaks right now, someone has a compilation of remaining footage. And just trust me here, people, there's a lot left to see.
Yeah, I mean, Vernestra with her light whip hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah.
Like, Like we thought that we were going to get light whip in this episode because it's like, okay, this is the big one. This is the fight one. We're going to get the light whip. We haven't even got that yet.
We have more context now, some of the scenes from the trailer, but I don't know if people remember, you saw a figure like climbing up the outside of the Witch Coven Citadel. They're wearing a Jedi robe. You see the Jedi out in the forest. They all get on speeder bikes and zip off towards something real quick at night. So Kamir's there. This one from Tom. I said I'd run this, see what Nick says. I heard a fun theory that Kamir is the first attempt of the Witch Order to create life, but he was a boy, so they dumped him and tried again with the twins.
It's very possible.
Right.
I mean, like they said in the first initial episode with the Witch Coven in there, it's like they were essentially at risk of going extinct. You know, like they were trying to find ways to bring people into their order. So it is. I mean, it's very possible that that Kamir is a result of some other experimentation done by the witches and the dark side, the true master. You know, whatever is still shrouded in mystery, and he is that creation.
Hey Nick, B Mad saying I spent $4.99 to look at you assholes. Do you have any more light for Nick's camera?
I mean, this is as light as my room gets. So here, I turned up my webcam light as bright as it goes.
There you go. It's all good. It's great because in our clips, I look like powder and Nick looks like he's in a cave. So it's awesome. I love it. It doesn't matter. Like the clips are doing well. Keep it up, Nick. All right. What are we saying here? But why does he ask Saul if he recognizes him? Just mind games. Yeah, I mean that's what dark side users do. They're always talking during a fight to try to get in your head.
It could be mind games. It could be mind games, but it also could be like you've seen me before and you know me, not just you know me from the apothecary. Like it's very obvious.
That's what I was reading
Soul
into
should
as well.
recognize him from the apothecary. Yes. You were standing in there. He was standing there. He was talking to Osha. You guys had this exchange, and then you were like, "I'll let you go." Is that what he's referring to? Because if so, like it seems like that would be like Soul should very easily recognize that.
Exactly.
It almost feels like he's saying like you don't recognize my presence. Like more than my physical appearance, like more than my face, do you not recognize almost like my force projection or something like that? Like you can't tell this. Yeah. Like that's kind of what I think he's going at more than like, you don't know what my face looks like. It's like you have felt my presence before.
Yeah.
And now I'm messing with you with that. It's like you should know me.
Yeah, and that's why I think it is more than the apothecary for sure. Christoph here, the true mystery is who killed the witches. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, man. At this point in time, it's finding out Saul's dark deed, because he has a dark deed that he has been eating. It's been eating him alive for 16 years now, and he's dying to tell someone about it, and it's seemingly looking like he's probably going to be telling May next week, because remember, he kept promising Osha, once we get back to the ship, I will tell you everything.
I'm going to tell you.
And now it's going to be May who gets to hear everything. And, since we're talking about, I'll run with it. This Parent Trap thing presents the unique opportunity for the twins to yin and yang themselves.
Yeah.
To where Osha assumes the role of the Darksider and May starts to see the point of view of the light, possibly. I mean, we know May is still very anti-Jedi, and she probably does want to kill Soul still and prove to her sister that the Jedi brainwashed her. But you never know what a new point of view can do to a person.
Yeah, I mean, it also sets up the possibility that if May really is as angry at Soul and at the Jedi as she has seemingly been, she's in the perfect position to do what? Kill his Jedi without a weapon.
Hell yeah. I still think it's going to be Osha, though. Because she's going to come back to him after learning the truth, the real truth, and force choke his ass.
Yeah, there's so many different ways that this could go now that they've split. Like, Osha is clearly going to be very hesitant to interact in any way with Kamir.
To start for sure, but he's going to work that dark side charm.
It's gonna break her down. Like he's gonna be like, oh, you don't know. He hasn't told you. Like you don't know the truth of what happened at your home. Why are you angry with May? May didn't do anything, and like ultimately, what may break Osha against the Jedi is just the truth. Is just the truth. And that's all that Kamir has to tell her. Like he doesn't even have to lie to her. All he has to do is tell her the truth. And that could be what breaks her against the Jedi.
What was May? Yeah, because May really, she is very committed to the idea that Osha... And Nick, when I was listening to this, I was like, I bet young Nick's sitting there pounding his chest, because you were, I think after episodes 1 and 2, the premiere, you were very high on these fucking Jedi brainwashed Osha. Like, they didn't just tell her what happened. They ensured that she remembered exactly and only what they wanted her to remember.
Yeah, I mean, they had to. And it was also made very clear within the first 2 episodes that the Jedi are not, they hold no qualms about using mind manipulation in terms of just going into people's heads and pulling information.
And they're very comfortable lying, even to their own leadership.
Lying. And if you go back and watch those first 2 episodes again, I can't remember who exactly makes a reference, but somebody makes a reference to altering somebody's memory. Like there is a it might
have been episode 2 where Kamir's like, yeah, I don't want you guys fucking with my head or something like that.
I think it was a Jedi, but there was an instance where it was like they make reference to altering somebody's memories. I have to go back and watch them again, but I'm 99% sure that there was something that brought that up. And that's why I said it. I was like, Osha's memories may not even be her own memories. It may be versions of memories that she was given or very selectively, she remembers things very selectively because of what the Jedi did. And it was also not to even bring this further back into other non-canon stuff, the people in the Old Republic days who were loyal to Darth Revan truly believed that Darth Revan was brainwashed by the Jedi after they recaptured him. After they captured Revan, they truly believed that the reason that he turned back to the light side is because he was brainwashed by the Jedi, actively brainwashed by the Jedi.
And depending on the player, maybe he was, right? Because we controlled the choices.
Yeah. I mean, it's
interesting. I mean, that scene, even though I thought it was, kind of dragged the episode down, but, May's motivations have never shifted. She just wants her sister. She wants her family. That's it. She's like, this is all I need. And Osha still has that mindset. No, you're bad. You killed the Jedi. You need to pay for your crimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very black and white picture that Osha has of this incident, when this incident is not black and white at all. So it is very interesting that
we've hit a lot of the Haas so far. I got all the Kamir stuff on the witches. Best Sith action of all time, huh? I know we kind of talked about this. I mean, the hallway scene's up there just because it's our Lord and Savior Darth Vader, but if you really compare the two, it's apples and oranges. I mean, we had in Kamir, a dark side user taking on all levels and skill of Jedi by himself. And then you had Vader taking on a platoon of goofy ass helmet wearing not even rebel commandos, just regular rebel officers, the grunts of the rebellion. So it's hard. Listen, Darth Vader's always going to look fucking badass whenever he's doing his thing. But I feel like what we got in this from Kamir is what we all want to see Darth Vader do, because we know he does it in the comics. We've just never got to see him do this type of shit in live action.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, it's definitely up there with some of the best Sith action that we've ever seen, for sure. I mean, it's up there with some of the best lightsaber combat action we've ever seen, in my opinion. And like,
yeah, I'm with you too. BMAT saying, do you think May wanted to join the Sith because of the practice? No, I mean, no. I think Kamir or somebody, Mother Coral, got a hold of her at the end of the disaster and started saying, "This is what you need to do to get revenge."
Yeah, it's definitely a revenge plot. And because like the thing is like with May, it's like even at that time, I don't know if they would dangle that, you know, like because she's a kid, she's a little kid, and like I also don't think that they were interfacing with the master. They may not have even been interfacing with the master himself. Right. So I really do think that it is like Mother Coral pounding into her head, like, we need to get revenge against the Jedi for what they did to our family.
And this, using the thread this way can help, or working with this guy can help, or blah, blah, something like that. I think episode 7, we're going to get some of that. Like I said, I really do think that is going to be...
So Tom says
he's right. We do not have the exact answer.
Well, it's Osha, not May, because May was never in.
Correct. Yeah, you're right.
So it's Osha. But yeah, I mean, like from what we said or from what we've heard, there are a couple things about Osha's leaving Jedi.
It just sounded
training.
like she couldn't hack it or something.
She said she told Yord or Yord's Padawan in the very first episode that it was her choice to leave. But that was spurred by Yord's Padawan saying, Indara wanted you out of the order. She was a big proponent of you leaving.
Yeah, because she thought because she couldn't get over her resentment at May.
Yes, and then it was Osha that said, it was my choice to leave and nobody else's.
Okay.
But now you know that Indara did have reservations at the very least about Osha being allowed to train.
Well, as any of them would, or maybe that's why they got so weird by the time Anakin came around, because we shouldn't be training kids this old that already have attachments, especially to a witch coven that uses the Force.
Yeah, I mean, and like they knew that already. Like there was already like they already knew that she was too old, because they talked about it amongst the wishes. They were like you don't train, like you guys don't train people this old. They're too old. They even said that themselves. They're too old to train. So like, it's like Osha's like, there's a lot like you said from Leslie, when Leslie put out this article in EW, there are 4 or 5 other mysteries that she would love to dive into in a season 2. So that means that we're going to get some answers here, and there may be other answers that we just don't get.
But the best part is, Nick, she's not leaving any open threads from this story being told here. Yeah. So if this is it is it, and I like that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what's so good about this show is it's not like they, other properties or even in Star Wars where it's like, all right, well, here's a silver platter with all of the information that you need to know from episode 1, and then we're just going to go ahead and go on through. Like this show requires you to keep up with it and to stay along with the mysteries as they are revealed and as layers are peeled back. That's what's been so interesting.
And a lot of times, just listen to what the characters are saying. I mean, hopefully everyone saw this here, and it should dispel any fears that this is going to somehow ruin Ki-Adi-Mundi's line in TPM. But I mean, the stranger, aka Kamir, literally spells it out. He's like, she exposed me. I have to kill everyone now. It's the Jedi rules that make me do this because I can't exist under them.
Yeah.
So I love how, listen, he's a fucking terrible person. Okay, let's be real. Kamir is not a good character, but he's making very valid points. He's like, yo, if it weren't for you fuckheads trying to take me out and making me live in a hole, I probably wouldn't be killing everyone. I'd just be doing whatever I felt like with my superpowers. So I love it. I mean, it's like vintage narcissistic villain, or not narcissism, but I forget what it is. But he's essentially projecting like, listen, I'm only bad because the Jedi make me bad.
Yeah, he's like, look, this is all your fault. Everything that's literally what he's saying.
I love it. I love it.
Every life that I have taken here is your fault.
Yeah. Hey, the reason I exist and do what I do is your fault.
Yeah, it's because like I am only doing this because you don't allow me to use my force powers in the way that I want to.
So I have to pretend like I don't exist.
Yeah, so I have to pretend like I don't exist.
And now you all have to die.
And now that you know that I exist, by your own law, by Jedi law, you have to kill me, which means that I have to kill you to protect myself.
Yeah, listen, I mean, he held himself well against 9, but he knows like he's not going to be able to take on the entire order looking for him. So
yeah, exactly.
This is
and then
bad news.
Yeah. I mean, like, if Kamir gets out of this alive, I would be surprised. But like, still,
season 2, baby. Yeah. The other thing I forgot that was brought up about the helmet that was interesting, because it's like, okay, he's high. I also like the joke. Saul's like, hey, why would you reveal yourself? He's like, well, I did have a helmet.
Yeah, it's like he's literally like,
hey, fucker, I had one till your dead Padawan. It knocked it off my head, so I wasn't trying to expose myself. But now that I am, you all need to die. But the point is, Nick, did you catch where, Saul's like, why don't you take off your helmet? He's like, so the Jedi can't read my mind, idiot. So apparently the Cortosis can kind of like Magneto's helmet for Professor X, huh?
Yeah, like prevent. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like, I don't think that I had ever seen somebody use it in that way in like old EU like legend stuff, but obviously like there are plenty of things that block like force abilities from being read and stuff like that, even in canon. So
I thought it made complete sense. Is like any advantage a Sith is going to take, they're going to gladly accept those. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
100%.
There is no cheating in the Sith way. Speaking of cheating, and the intern brought this up because he thought it was done on Jeki, but I do believe Jeki just got 3 quick stabs. But did we see Kamir throughout this possibly using Trakata, the forbidden saber move, which is turning it off and on real quick? It's a real thing.
Oh. Yeah. No, I know, and I've seen, like, you've seen it done, and
well, there was a fantastic meme back in the day. These 2 black guys, like with rudimentary CGI sabers. They're like, watch this, best move ever, and they would lock sabers, and the guy would be like, just retract it and then quickly ignite it again and stab him.
I'd have to watch it through again. I don't think so.
I agree.
I don't think so.
But I did go back and rewatch the Jeki death, because that's where it could have made sense. But I'm pretty sure he uses that smaller blade, and it's just a tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like League is saying, like it's 3 taps for sure, but he separates his blade,
right,
and then he hits.
Yeah, he has 2 at that point in time. He's blocking with one and stabbing with the other. I'll just have to. I mean, I'm going to be watching it tonight with the family, at least the wife. So I maybe when he's in the forest fighting, the gaggle, it might have went on and off. But I mean, in the end, like Yord said, and maybe he did, because Yord said he's not following the rules of combat. So
I mean, it's very possible. It's like it all happened so quickly, and like as it was happening, I was just like, oh my God, this is fucking crazy. Yeah, I wasn't like paying super high attention. Like, wasn't like looking at all the micro details, I would say.
All right. Yeah, good stuff there. Okay, what else do we have that I wanted to talk about? We're kicking ass here, Nick. Our buddy Basil. He's definitely going to play a role in the rest of the tale, right? Because
Where's Basil?
He found Pip's head that was stuck to Kamir. He knows it smells like OSHA. So he's bringing it back to her, but when he gets on the ship,
that's not OSHA.
He's like, this smell is not right. Like the smell is off. But here's the interesting problem: no one can understand him now that Yord is dead.
Yeah, Yord's the only one that can speak his language.
So does this little Tynan play a major role over these next 3 episodes in possibly spoiling the Parent Trap, or possibly being taken out of it because he does know about the Parent Trap. Like May fucking chokes him out or something.
Yeah, like maybe May kills him.
No,
which would be just which would just be even more like, God, man, like you're gonna kill the little,
come on,
the tracker,
the
guy?
walking rodent.
But the thing is like, one, I gotta imagine Soul finds out in short order, right? Like there's a tattoo on her head.
Come on, unless like she somehow found the brown makeup there in the forest. That was the first thing I was thinking. We are going to talk about the haircut,
the cover it, but
like, unless we're going to run with Soul. Oh, fuck, Soul is so fucking whacked out right now and broken after what just went down, and knowing that he still has this guilt he needs to get off his chest, that his force powers are just all out of whack. I think we could kind of come to that agreement, right? Like to where he doesn't necessarily sense there's a difference, or is Saul just an idiot?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is definitely a possibility that he just doesn't notice because he's so frantic.
Yeah, like, that's what I mean. We
just like imagine being a human being in the situation that he's in now.
Yeah. You've just lost your entire squad of Jedi. You lost your own Padawan. You lost May, or you think you lost May, but now you really lost Osha.
The Sith just revealed himself to you.
Right. His world is crumbling. So I guess we technically should give Soul a pass if he does not figure this out on his own. Because listen, I mean, we know they can do it. We know Yoda himself kind of tempered his force powers in hiding. Obi-Wan, we know he did it. Luke Skywalker did it. You can turn that shit off if you are not mentally correct.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Okay, so the lightsaber haircut, pretty neat, right? I do. Yeah. I kind of like that choice, but like you said, and I need to go. Let me look at this shot again. Man, you can't tell. It's when she's in Osha's clothes and they're about to get back on the ship. So
yeah, because her hair is right in front.
Yeah, they've done a really good job at using the bangs to cover. So I mean, who knows there? But I did like the idea of, well, if we're going to do this, I need to get a quick haircut, and what better way to do that than with a laser sword?
Yeah. And the thing is like Soul's the only one who doesn't know. Like Kamir knows 100%. That is Osha.
Yeah, he's like sweet. I mean, he's literally licking his lips like, I got a new toy.
He's like, look, now I got the one who I can manipulate even more.
Yeah, he knows she's already fucked up from being manipulated by the Jedi. Yeah. Now he can use that and twist things to his advantage.
Oh, 100%. Because he's like, he knows that there's nothing left for him with May. If he has to kill May. Yep. May's got to go because May is done with him. But May also knows
she fucked up his plan. Shit. Yeah, she fucked up his plan. She exposed him, and like you said, she now is on the kill list because she knows. She knows things. She knows.
Yeah. So, all right. This is his new opportunity to really be like, oh, you think I'm bad? Just wait. Mm-hmm. Just wait till you find out the truth.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I was saying. It's like, that's all it takes to turn Osha from I'm mad at May to I'm mad at the Jedi is just the truth. He doesn't have to lie to her.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's clear to everyone, Osha is the most fucked up of the twins in her head. Like, she is not right. It never has been since the Night of the Fire.
Yeah. Like, she has been so heavily manipulated by whatever story she's been told that as soon as she realizes the actual truth, it's over for the Jedi. Like, it's over for them because not only are you going to have, like, May already hates you. Like, May is going to come at you regardless. And, like, May being in their presence now, like, he's going to try to, you know, like spill her some bullshit and she's not going to buy it. But, like, after Osha finds out that every Jedi that she's ever known has lied to her face about how her family died and what her sister is and how she came to be in the position that she was in.
Right.
Dude, come on.
Seems like a good motivation to turn to the dark side, much better than, oh, you might be able to save my wife who might die. I didn't say that out loud, did I? Oops. Oops. The last one I had, I can't remember if we touched on it or not, but Nick, when you saw Sol and Kamir in their multiple entanglements, did you feel like each time Kamir was playing with him, or could Sol actually hang with this dude, unlike every other Jedi on this planet?
I think Sol can hang with him for sure.
Okay.
I don't think. Here's what I'll say. I don't think that Kamir would have put himself in that position at the end to like fully being comfortable that somebody was going to save him. Like, I feel like he got bested, and then he also knows that he got saved.
Well, yeah, you're right, because he kind of goes like, "Oh, like when she shows up, like, hey, how about that luck?" Okay, right.
Yeah, because I think that Sol had him for a second, and I think that there was definitely a bit of overconfidence on Kamir's part, and like, honestly, how can you not feel overconfident after what you just did?
Hell yeah. Well, you know what? It really is kind of a marriage between two iconic scenes from the OT and the PT.
Yeah.
I mean, Sol eventually getting the upper hand during the fisticuffs, that was Luke on the Death Star after Vader taunts him about his sister and that knowledge. Just completely dips into that dark side and lets it take over to where you can overpower a Darksider. Then it shifts into, as we talked earlier, the infamous turn, Anakin's turn in Palpatine's chambers there. So it was a great moment there, and I think there's plenty left between Sol, Kamir, May, and Osha, and I guess you got to throw Basil in there too. I mean, they're really the main narrative thread moving forward, with Vernestra kind of being the tangential connection back to the Order. All right, buddy, we covered everything I had on my list. I know it was a lot, so let's go ahead and set up next week. What do you think's going to go down in E6?
I know, right? All right, next week, E6. It's all right. So I don't think we're jumping right back into flashbacks. I don't think that that's happening yet. I think that we are still going to pick up. I think we're probably going to have a direct pickup thread here. I think that we are. I don't think that Vernestra is coming here. I'll say that because at this point, why is she coming? Like, Sol and May are assuredly heading off this planet ASAP. Out. They're leaving. The big question then becomes, how fast does Sol find out that this is May? Like, and is it quick enough to where he can do anything to like try to save himself or try to put himself into a better position?
Right.
So I think that we may be going from here. Like, I think that we may be going from here to Brendok, and then episode 7 is a flashback episode. And then obviously episode 8 is the finale. So I think that we're going to see Kamir and Osha head to Brendok, because that is where Kamir can do the most mental damage to Osha, is on Brendok. And I feel like once Sol finds out that he has May and not Osha, he's going right to Brendok too, because he's like, where is the place that where is Kamir going to take her that can really, that's going to put me in one, the worst position, and two, have the most opportunity for Osha to have revelations about her past. Right. So I do think that at least one of the parties, primarily Kamir and Osha, are going to end up on Brendok. And I'm not sure, I really don't know what Sol's move is from here, right? Like, what do you do as Sol?
You run and hide, dude. You fucked up so bad at this point.
It's like Vernestra is immediately gonna say like, hey, we can't tell anybody about this. If Sol comes to her and says that, like, hey, like, this is what if Soul just like goes back to Coruscant and says like, hey, what's going to happen here? Like this is what happened. Like she's going to try to cover it up anyway. So like, I truly don't know what Soul's going to do.
Yeah. I'm going to cheat a bit and use kind of what is left in the trailer footage, but I think you're on to something. The difference is though, it seems they're either both headed to Brendok at the same time and they don't realize it, or one is chasing the other. Because I fully believe those shots from the trailer we've seen of Saul piloting the Jedi ship and then what looks like May's ship is them headed to Brendok, and they're flying through their moon's upside down rings. So yeah. I think you're on to something there. I'll deviate a bit. I do think episode 6 we get Vernestra headed to Kofor, possibly to check out something. Like, hey, no one checked in when they're supposed to. I need to go see what happened.
Maybe she's just like following the trail.
Exactly right.
Like behind everybody, and then like maybe. Yeah.
At this point in time, Nick, she's always going to be a step too late, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm with you. I think we get the 4 main narratives to Brendok by the end, which sets up the flashback full 7, or at least a good chunk of 7. And then 8, you probably resolve it all on Brendok, the scene of the crime. Yeah. Game, set, match.
Yeah. I think that's I think we're definitely aligned on that, where we're going from here. But yeah, dude, like there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff still to come, and I'm super excited for the last 3 episodes. Like I can't wait to see where it all kind of wraps up and goes.
Mm-hmm. Now listen, I'll still put it out there. If this thing doesn't hit, or we get some really weird shit that we're supposed to think ties into our canon Sith, I'll let you know that this thing might have failed its mission. But so far, I absolutely can't say that about the Acolyte. I'm in it till the end. When everything's all kind of revealed, then I'll decide like, hey, this was a complete win, a hit, or you know what? With that ending, you just kind of took those previous 7 episodes and took a big shit on them.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, like with a mystery show like this, with a show that is literally built on
lost out is what I'm saying. Lost out.
Like mysteries and reveals and peeling back layers and then stuff like that. Like if your final reveal is weak, then that's gonna have a trickle down effect on the rest of the series. So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm really excited about what's to come without knowing how it ends. So yeah, I mean, fingers crossed, at least my fingers crossed, that like when all is said and done and the show is complete, that that everything feels good.
Let's stick that landing, right? Let's stick that landing. That's all we can ask for. And we'll see. Yeah. We'll see in 3 more weeks. Pretty sure July 16 is the last day of the Acolyte. Or our last show talking about the Acolyte.
Yeah.
Man, that was fun. All right.
That was fun.
Oh, we got a Grand Admiral Haktua in here. I can tell what type of Star Wars fan they are. So
he isn't one.
Yeah, have fun.
He also isn't a fan of anything else, it seems like, either. So that dude's life must be pretty shitty.
Didn't like Rebel Moon. But yeah, Rebel Moon, I'll give you that. That one's rough. But I am signing up for the 6+ hour Snyder director's cut of it coming in August. So don't worry. I will fall on that grenade for everybody, because why not?
That's going to be a long... Is it really that long?
Nick, he's taken both episodes and they're over 3 hours. They're now rated R because he's added in the actual gore and some sex. And he's changed the titles of both movies too.
I saw he changed the titles, and I was like, what is even happening here anymore? It's
awesome, man. That's fucking Snyder, bro. Like, say what you want about Zack Snyder, but as a human, you have to respect the man, that he literally is seemingly the only director that people think is awful. His shit makes no money, yet studios are pushing each other over to sign him up, give him deals, and then let him make 15 versions of his film.
Yeah. Dude, it's wild. It is wild.
That's fucking great.
That this dude, like, everywhere he goes, people hate his shit, except for bots that are built to say good things about them. And then he still gets $100 million to make a fucking movie that everybody knows is going to be bad.
I don't know if I'm fully in Snyder Nation. I like the guy. I'll sit through his shit. I'm not going to say it's great, but there's something. Maybe 300 was enough. His
300 was good, and then the remake of Dawn of the Dead I thought was also good.
I mean,
and then Watchmen was not bad.
He has hits here or there, so I mean, whatever. But it is funny that what Snyder has, the niche he's kind of carved out for himself now. It's like, hey, I'm just going to make a fucking ton of movies of the same movie, and you're going to pay me for all of them. It's like, great.
It's pretty crazy.
Awesome.
It's pretty crazy.
All right, my man. Well, that is the Acolyte time. So let's go ahead and start winding E315 of the SWTS down, which means it's time for the fan segment. Woohoo! So if you're new here, we do a fan segment every week at the end of the show. There's 2 ways to get involved. Well, these days we kind of have 3 ways if you want to ask us a question to kick the show off. But during the fan segment in particular, we have our question of the week. Reek, Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, still good. Our question of the week, which we post all over the place now. It goes on our Discord. It goes in our YouTube community. Instagram is where we get most of the traction. Just look for the post. Turn on reminders, turn on notifications for at StarWarsTime.show or Star Wars Time Show on YouTube. Look for it, leave your responses, and there's a chance we're probably going to read it, or at least read it as fast as possible, depending on how much time we have left in the show. And Indeed. Then the last way to get involved, what we always end the show on, is our top 5 Star Wars Fan Artist of the Week features, where young Nick sifts through our tagged shots on Instagram at StarWarsTime.show and picks 5 of his favorite. Right now, if you're on screen, you're getting a tease of one of his picks. So, Nick, let's get into the question of the week. There were a few responses this week, and mostly positive. I was hoping for some good, fun, negative ones, but I didn't see many, which is weird. It's like, I don't know, maybe Theory didn't release the Horde this week. I'm sure he didn't like it, but maybe it didn't sound like he directed them to go nuts this week. I don't know.
It shows you how weak of a person he is that like when Star Wars Theory starts to get heat from the outside, like when
he's like, I'm gonna sue Wikipedia. Is like good luck with that, dude.
When other outlets start to give him shit for being an idiot, he like quiets down. He's like, oh no, people know how dumb I am. Now I can't talk as loud anymore.
I've seen him. He almost digs heels in now. Like literally last week, he put out a video or something like, I may be suing Wikipedia. It's like,
please do it.
Have fun, buddy.
Please do it so you can get embarrassed on a national stage.
Anyways.
Anyway,
not sure why he gets so much attention anymore, but he does command the largest horde on the internet. So here we go. All right, first one here, Nick. This is coming from Baron's Black Series.
Yes, Baron's Black Series on what he thinks about the Acolyte so far. He says, because I'm going to be at work.
He always gets so worried. He sends these to us like Tuesday night before we even post the question.
But Spencer's always on it. He says, my favorite thing about this week's episode was Jackie. She was holding her own against Khmer before he pulled out the dirty moves. R.I.P. her and Qui-Gon. Doesn't look like she is surviving that lightsaber shotgun blast to the chest. Yeah,
I like that.
I think she's dead.
That's a good one.
I think she's dead. Khmer was awesome too. The way he changed his voice for Osha, and that Yord neck snap was nasty.
Nailed it.
Yeah, man. That Yord thing, that's going to be like haunting my dreams. All right, next up is this.
Bango.
Who is this one? Bango? I thought so, yes. My only gripe is the soul mystery dragging out another episode, but that's such a minor nit because we've got 3 more episodes to go and more layers of the onion to peel. I really enjoyed the gradual reveal of the Master's identity, the display.
Stranger.
Yeah, the stranger. People are dubbing him the Master. He is not the Master.
Manny Jacinto himself is like, I played a Sith Lord, so.
Sith Lord, yeah.
But
Darth Vader was a Sith Lord.
Sith Lord doesn't mean you're a master.
Not a master.
Correct. There
exactly. The display of his fighting prowess and his force talents and how he just kept fucking with them. Disappearing act, etc. Every bit of combat looked great. I think there was one shot that looked a little hinky between May and Jackie, but I cannot begin to give a shit. The rest was aces. Cannot wait to see how this Parent Trap shit plays out, because it certainly looks like May said fuck it to that whole turning herself in thing now that OSHA told her to pound sand. Yeah, things may have shifted now for May for sure. Because like in May's mind, she's like, dude, at least before she was like, I can reunite with my sister. And now she's like, my sister doesn't want me. The Sith don't want me. Yeah. The Jedi don't want me. Right. I'm on my fucking own.
Yeah, so I might as well kill Saul still. Why not?
Yeah. Just like, hey, because she knows, like, she wants to kill Soul because she's like, I know what you motherfucker did. Oh god,
the Yord Morg. That's what the Horde turned into now. It's the Yord Morg.
R.I.P.
I love it. He's not playing by the rules. Snap your neck. Yeah, I'm not. You bitch.
Tones 1138 says, well, damn, that was pretty spectacular to say the least. Insane saber battles. Jackie was amazing with those sabers. Such a shame she got her 3 strikes. Gonna miss her for sure. The force pull onto the saber was so cool, as was the hand-to-hand combat. Easily the best episode so far, and can't wait to see where this goes now. There's definitely another full episode flashback coming for sure, I think. Bring on next week, says Tones. All right, and then after Tones, we got Bat 2797 Studios. It says, oh, what? Where are all the haters now? I enjoyed this episode. Still got to wonder if there's another. The Stranger was breaking sabers, breaking necks like Vader on a Saturday night. That was fun. Jackie. Saturday. Oh yeah, Jackie was kicking ass. I was impressed. Yord, oh Yord, what little, what little we knew of you. The switch is kind of mad to me. I mean, how do you not know? LOL. But Basil is on the case, and he will reveal all. These last episodes will be a fun ride. Johnny Osage Ave, our good buddy Johnny. Salutations, SWTS. First and foremost, bowing. Hail the SWTS on the Khmer, a.k.a. Smilo Ren prediction.
Trophies, come on.
We were calling it out.
Get them going. I'll flash them up on the screen. Let's go. Type them out.
What an episode. What happens now? They're all, spoiler alert, dead. Oh, and Master Soul, you know you have the wrong twin, right? Your Peter Tingle should be firing on all 6 right now.
Oh, man.
That's a good Spider-Man.
I always like when Johnny drops a comment.
Yeah. Perhaps you're no Jedi. Well. Next up. Okay. 501 Photographs. He says, I've pretty much not enjoyed this show so far because of the acting aside from Soul, but man, was this an awesome episode simply because of the duel, D-U-A-L, dual. Still not a fan of Mayor OSHA, but Soul and the Sith are awesome. Sith in quotation marks. Stormtrooper 501 says, I enjoyed. Lady Elaine 24 making her.
You know what's funny, Nick? She watches the show. She actually called me. She's like, hey, I know I kind of messed up on the comment last week. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? We're just fucking around. It's all right. Everyone's allowed their own opinions.
Yes.
It's because I gave her shit because she referred to him as Master, just like I did with Bango. Yes. There you go.
Yeah. This episode was my favorite so far. The action and suspense were nonstop. The duels were incredible, and I don't ever remember seeing so much physical fighting without lightsabers. She's 100% right about that. I was as heartbroken as Soul when Jackie was killed with that hidden lightsaber. The ending really makes it difficult to wait until next week. Yeah. We're all just super invested.
Trophies are coming in, Nick. I'm just throwing them up as you're reading. They finally heard it due to the lag, so they're like, bam, 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 bam. If you want the ability to throw trophies or have a Darth Kitty, don't forget you can join the SWTS membership club.
Hit that join.
As low as $1.99.
There you go. Low as $1.99.
Down below in the description.
Mando Pirate says, holy shit, that was an episode. The duels were great, and Khmer is quite the badass. That switcheroo too. Yeah.
Where is Mando Pirate? Hopefully he's all right. They're usually in here.
Yeah, he's usually in here. All right, next up, Ted Simons says episode is definitely my favorite out of the bunch, but I'm getting pretty tired with these cliches. Like, it wasn't May, it was actually her twin sister, and Kamir was the Sith all along. But it had some great moments in the fight scenes. But it had some great moments in the fight scenes. But then again, when you saw them fighting in the trees, I feel like they just did a Last Jedi, and some of the extra Jedi were just swinging their lightsabers aimlessly. The acting definitely hasn't been the best part of this series. I just know Leslie Headland thought people would be making thirst edits of Kamir in those robes with arms showing.
Oh, they are. I mean, don't worry. It's happened.
Yeah, they are.
Just go on Twitter.
Yeah, I just find the series a bit boring overall. It's not interesting stylistically, nor is the story. Accuse me of being a hater, but I just don't like the show. It had a lot of potential. Just whatever I watch, it feel like I would have don't a lot different. He got very confused in that last couple lines. I just hope Leslie doesn't end up making an Old Republic series like she wanted to. Leave it to someone capable. I mean, Ted Simons, maybe you should sign up and do it. Sounds like you got some good ideas. I think that you should put in your script over there.
And listen, I would not call Ted a hater. Like that to me is not hater stuff. He actually lays down a case. This to me is fine discourse. I don't agree with Ted.
Yeah.
But that's fine discourse. Ted's not starting with, first off, you guys are idiot shills because if you have a different opinion from me, you're wrong and you should be killed. I mean, that's typically the type of feedback you get.
That's standard.
So I'm okay. I would not call Ted a hater. That to me,
if you don't, and like, here's what I tell these people, and it's almost like they have a disease or an illness. Like, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Right.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
What's crazy, Nick, is they hate the show, and then they
can't stop themselves.
And then they watch content people create, or at least read the titles in their feed, and just like they can't even help themselves. Like lemmings, they're like blah 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 blah. You're fucking stupid. You don't know shit.
It's like,
Star Wars is dead. Disney killed everything. George Lucas wants to kill Bob Iger. It's like okay.
And like here's the thing that I was able to do that clearly some of these people can't. I watched the first 15 minutes of Rebel Moon and I was like, this is shit. I'm not watching it. And what did I do? Not watch it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it because I didn't like it. But it seems like there's a lot of people in Star Wars universe who just hate watch stuff. And for those people, I feel really bad for the life that you lead, because it means that not only does your life suck so much that you can't not watch something that you hate, you force yourself to hate something and then continue to watch it. You
take pleasure feeling like shit and then trying to make other people feel like shit. That's not, it's just a normal human behavior.
It's so weird and sad that that's what your existence is.
But that's not Ted. That's the point we're trying to make here.
It's like there are some people out there that are just like that. It's crazy.
I respect Ted laying down his negative thoughts for the Acolyte because it was done in a respectable way. Okay.
Yeah. If you don't like the story and you think it's boring, dude, that is like totally fine. Yeah, legit. Everything is not for everybody.
I'm not going to call anyone a hater for that. I mean, that's your opinion. Listen, that's what these things are. So, all right. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And here we go. He's coming in there.
Oh, no, there's no Jar Jar in this comment from EKU Rory. He says, how's Yord's neck feeling? Do Jedi use chiropractors? Oof.
Well, I mean, possibly if they know about the force heal. Do you think, could you force heal a snapped neck, or is it just for flesh wounds?
Yeah, I don't know, because that would be like resurrecting, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He's already dead.
I think so, dude. Yeah.
Like, that's more of a resurrection.
We need to go dump him on Dathomir and put him in the same river that Asajj gets dumped in down the road here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's Christian Harloff? I don't even know who that is. Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to ask you because I don't know who that is.
It's probably a content creator that's way more popular than us, but who cares?
Probably.
Oh, did you guys hear that? I just shit my pants. Ooh, it might have made it on mic. I didn't try to hide it, but there we go.
Next up, we got some YouTube comments here from Beast Mobile 96.
I need to start letting Nick do the fucking question of the week again. I just get excited when we get interaction.
Yeah. So Beast Mobile 96, that's BMAD in our chat here, I believe.
What? It is.
He says, Disney did murder, decapitations, triple stabs, some of the best choreography since the prequels. Darth Teeth is my guy. Pinpoint Red says, damn, so brutal, loved it. And then Zachary Yatarik 2049 says, amazing episode. So that is it for the question of the week responses. Thank you to everyone who participated, whether it be on YouTube, Discord, Instagram, wherever else you want to tell us how you felt about it. Tell us how you felt about it. But now it is time for us to move on to our next part of the fan segment, which is the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. To get involved in this, make sure to follow us at StarWarsTime.show on Instagram and tag us, tag at StarWarsTime.show on your Instagram Star Wars art posts. That is how you fall into our tagged list, and that is where I pull the top 5 from. So, to kick this week's top 5 off, we're going to start with at 97 Parsecs Photography, one of our favorites over here on the Star Wars Time show. And what 97 has given us is an awesome shot of an in-action on the ground droidica attack. Yeah, so it is some CIS droids. So you see a droidica up front, you see some B1 battle droids in the back, and then you see our good old boys, the clone troopers, up front trying to fight their way through this droidica shield. And yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I mean, Robert Day, 97 Parsecs Photography, did an awesome job posing with the setup. I mean, I don't know if this is probably a mix of like practical and digital sets here, but this is just, as always, top quality work from 97 Parsecs Photography.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting hit by the boss here. We're just trying to line up our Acolyte plans for tonight, you know? Gotta do some shit. This droidica apparently is pretty boss. It's this new Black Series. It's, I think, 6 inches tall, Nick. So okay. You can't even tell the true scale of this thing. But fuck Black Series, Hot Toys for life. I actually got a new Hot Toys droid myself. There he is. Goldenrod showed up finally. Nice. I know I'm in little screen here. Let me switch back. Pretty damn cool figure. I'm not gonna lie. I never thought I'd need a goldenrod, but once I pulled him out, I'm like, fuck. Now I just need my Han Solo, and I'll finally have my Hot Toys 1/6 scale original trilogy characters collected. I'm just missing a Han. There he is. All die cast, by the way. He's got a little weight behind him.
Nice.
Don't fall over, you piece of shit. Okay, sorry about that. All right, yeah. So at 97 _Parsecs _photography on Instagram.
100%. Next up, Mando mugshots. We heard from him earlier in the.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you picked it. There's a lot of good fucking Vader shots this week. I don't know if the community had some sort of special theme, but we're gonna see Mando's here and talk about, and then we're gonna see one down the road that from Sean Visual Approach, just like Jesus.
Yeah. Just, I mean, tons of good stuff this week for sure. It was hard picking the top 5. But yeah, I mean, this one from Mando mugshots is just like awesome, just classic Vader awesomeness. So you see our boy, full get up, lightsaber ignited on a field of cinders and burning ash, and then behind him is a rebel, like just regular rebel ground trooper that he's choking out with the Force, not even looking at him. I mean, I don't know where this is taking place because it's hard to tell, because this is just like a battlefield of cinder and ash, but just a badass looking shot all around.
Oh yeah. It's a no look choke out on the commando back there, and it's Darth Vader. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I just sat here and essentially played with myself over Khmer, and I do think he's a pretty badass Darksider, but visually still, presence-wise, this is our hero. This is our champion.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff from @Mando_mugshots. Next up, we have a shot of couple of brothers here, dubbed The Power of Two by Corey K Figures on Instagram, Corey.K_figures. And what we have here is
the power of two. Nice.
The power of two. The power of two.
Someone in our, I think it was Tones, but there was some good power one, power two, power of many memes in the chat. And it's Nick, it's great. It's Vader in Empire Strikes Back making his pitch. He's like, Luke, the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. And Luke's like, what the fuck? And just falls off. Yeah, he just jumps. He's like, I'm out of here. Well, the power of many, speaking of witches in Star Wars, both of these characters Nick's about to talk about were, Savage was given force powers and Maul was given better legs.
Yeah, Maul was given
from witch force. So there you go.
Exactly. A new set of legs. So yes, we see here in the foreground, Savage Opress. For those of you who are familiar with the Clone Wars series, you will know who Savage Opress is, and his brother, Darth Maul. Maul right behind him with his like Matt was saying, his new legs. And you can see even in the background too, you can see a couple of Maul-Delorians there fighting behind their leaders. But yeah, I mean, just an awesome shot of Savage. We don't often see Savage shots come across the feed as much as I would like, given how awesome that character is designed. But yeah, I mean, this one here was Savage in the foreground. And
I think the reason we don't see him a lot because that's not a real figure. That's a custom that Corey built. So
okay,
but
there you go. Well, that's why.
Yeah, it makes a case to get Savage was cool. I mean, hopefully everyone in here, and I'd assume so, has seen the Clone Wars. But when he and Maul team up, they make so much noise that Palpatine, as a Sith Master, has to go and check their asses.
Yeah, and literally
murders Savage, and I believe that this is where Maul gets locked up until he gets broken out by the Maul-Delorians.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, because I mean that's one of the few times ever that you see Palpatine in full combat mode, and I'm talking dual lightsabers, full on the field, just ripping apart Savage and Maul.
Poor Yord's still taking it. Will the Force just showed up. I'm pre-ordering the next Yord figure. Heard it, 180-degree neck action.
Oh, oof. Dude, I told you.
He's the Exorcist Jedi now. He just fucking spin that thing around.
Just spin it all around.
Yeah, he squeezes legs. He squeezes legs, and it has the little motor, and his head just starts spinning.
I said last week before this episode, I was like, man, I'm going to be real upset when Yord gets taken out. And I got to say, I am upset.
You actually were.
The way that he went down was just so violent.
Yeah.
It was, oh my God.
I mean, and for a guy like Yord, I don't want to say he deserved it, but it felt like he earned that. It's like, hey, especially from a Darksider who is so anti-rules, and Yord was the king of rules. It was, I think it was almost purposeful that he killed him that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just brutal. Just brutal.
Fuck yo rules, Yord. Yeah. The Yord Horde and the Yord Morgue now. I love it.
Oh. But yeah, all right. Next up, and this was the shot that you were talking about, Matt. This is from
what the
visual.
hell?
Yeah, this is from another one of our favorites, visual approach photo here on the Instagram.
I can't even zoom out far enough to do it justice. Just go look at this on visual approach feed. It is a Mac Daddy shot.
Yeah, I mean, visual approach photo gives us our king baddie here, Darth Vader, in his standing at the foot of his castle in his his welcomed home of Mustafar. You see TIE fighters streaming out from behind the castle, moving off towards a target unknown, and then Vader just standing there amongst the lava that turned him into more machine than man, just kind of staring off into the distance. I mean, this is just like peak toy photography from visual approach here for sure.
I mean, this is something that Kill Cutter shots I would love to have hanging in the HQ here.
100%.
And that's the Hot Toys Vader, the Kenobi Vader. Just he's got his unbusted helmet on and busted chest plate. But yeah, and honestly, I like what Sean's saying here. Let me read a bit of the caption. One of my favorite things about Vader is his generally quiet body language. He appears downright relaxed in some instances. Given his nature, I find that interesting. Even when completely still, he can be absolutely frightening.
Yeah.
It's like, yep.
I mean, he is an OG pimp darkside user for sure. And I mean, the model that all Darksiders aspire to, right? Like they all want to live up to that Darth Vader moniker.
His grandson definitely did, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. And to close out the top 5 here, we have one from I had to put it in here for the trolls.
I think it was Tones in our Discord. He's like, it looks like the toy community took well to Kiadi, because there were a lot of Kiadi shots popping up last week, as can happen sometimes when new Star Wars is airing.
Yeah. So this is at the Toy Enthusiast on Instagram. This is a scene recreation shot from the Jedi Council, from the chambers of the Jedi Council, and this is the moment where hologram Ki-Adi-Mundi is asking Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi about the droid attack on the Wookiees.
What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
Yeah.
It's like, what about it, Ki-Adi? Do something about it.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? You're on my Gito doing nothing. You're just hanging out until you get shot. And then Yoda says that he has good relations with the Wookiees and that he would handle it himself. But I had to throw it in there for the trolls, for all of the Star Wars idiots out there who are so caught up on a birth date.
It was tracked down, Nick. It literally is from a CD-ROM something.
Oh my god!
from Star Wars Insider. That's where the non-canon birth date was set. But yeah, that was last week. Who cares? Like, honestly.
Oh man, that was some fun stuff.
And guess what? Everyone that hated Ki-Adi, they were back watching this week. So
yeah. And I will say too that, like, I mean, I know that I put it in there for the trolls, but Toy Enthusiast did a very good job digiramying the background in.
Oh yeah.
The posing of all of the figures is spot on. The only thing that may be a tiny bit off is the translucency didn't go all the way up that his one hand right there.
Oh.
But I mean, other than that,
Nick. He was trying his damnedest to phase into his seat to really drive home the point that the Wookiees need help.
Exactly. But really great scene recreation here from the Toy Enthusiasts on Instagram. So good stuff there. But hey, that's the end of the top 5, and that's the end of our show for this week. So Matt, go ahead and close us out.
Man, it would be nice to like have this much fun all year long with Star Wars, but yeah, you and I know we're going to be hitting a lull period in between the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. So we'll get back to our special topics, but I don't know. I can't express the level of joy I've had these past few weeks, even with some of the wonkiness that the Acolyte provides. I've just absolutely been thrilled to talk about it with young Nick, with you all in the Discord in between shows right after a new episode, buddies and texting, other content creators like Connor from Beyond the Dune Sea or Will of the Force. This is why I love Star Wars. That's it. Not all the bullshit, not getting angry at fiction, sci-fi, fantasy stuff. It's just the pureness of the fandom when people are excited and they want to know what's happening next, and they want to speculate with their buddies. They want to theory craft. They want to try to figure out what's going to happen. Then they also want to explain what they think's going on and why characters are doing what they do. I know it's not real, but guess what? Living in the real sometimes sucks. So it's great to have this show, to have Nick, to have you all every Wednesday to come here and just kind of take a piss. You know what I mean? It's really been great these past few weeks. I have never felt this invigorated to do Star Wars time. And really before this, I was starting to hit a rock. Like there was shit going through my head. Like, I think I'm done. Like, what's the point? I'm done. I want a bigger audience. I've said it for years. I don't have it. I feel like a loser. I'm ready to quit. But something about this show and guessing at the mystery and seeing what we saw in episode 5 has really kind of brought me back, and I'm thankful for it. And you know, I just made $10,000 for saying that from Kathy. She just literally wired it to my account. It's called the Shill account, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Shill for life, bring in the cash. I love Star Wars. That's why there's always time for Star Wars Time, my friends. And if you are new here, hopefully you enjoyed what we do. We do it every Wednesday here live on youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. It then hits podcast platforms a day later. So even if you can't watch our dumb faces, or we're too ugly for you, or my skin's blinding you, or my bald head when I take my hat off makes your eyes burn, you can listen without looking at our faces. Easiest way to do that, just head over to starwarstime.net. Yeah, we're lowlifes. We didn't get the comm. We got the net. It doesn't matter. It's out there on the internet, and it's got all the information you need. If you want to get on those podcast platforms, hit it up. We got them there for you. Just got to clicky. If you want to sub to YouTube, there as well. Or if you're listening live right now and you haven't subbed yet, why not? All right? You don't have to look at our shit, but it'd be nice to pad the numbers, if you know what I mean. You know, like I said, there really is always time for Star Wars Time over here at the SWTS, and we're here to entertain anyone's opinions as long as they can execute them without being a pile of shit. All right? You know what to do, people. There's always time. Don't you forget it. Don't let those people suck it out of you either. All right? Too many of us let this outside noise affect our own fandom, and that needs to stop. Who gives a shit? Don't let them take your fucking joy. All right? If you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.